puppies. It's good podcast.
I feel threatened.
My nostrils are threatened.
I don't blame you. If I'd spent a little more time watching what I eat, or less time, never mind. I need to produce better is all I'm trying to say. Still a little groggy coming into today.
That's called consistency, though.
Unfortunately, yes. I will give you that.
Consistently inconsistent.
That's right. What's
Nailed
going on,
it.
everybody? Welcome to Inside the Pallet House. Here's hoping you had a good week. You're gearing up for an even better weekend. You know why you're here, but if you don't, you're listening to the only podcast dedicated to solving first world problems and helping you figure out what you should be drinking this week or avoiding at all costs. And this week, we're going to help you on the Bourbon Challenge yet again.
How many more of these are there?
Literally one more after this before we get to start
And then we go
narrowing
into
our
the
scope,
semifinals.
which I'm ecstatic about.
Yeah.
Be a good list for those semifinals.
It should be.
Yeah.
It should be. I mean,
You've been writing this down?
the abacus has.
Okay, because I have not.
Guess what I found in the old spreadsheet we're using?
What?
An error.
An error?
An error.
Yeah.
I know that's shocking to you.
That from the abacus?
The abacus has been in charge of the spreadsheet. And I had gone through, I was in the liquor store, like, trying to figure out what to get next. And I'm, like, pulling it up, and I'm going through, and I'm like, I can't find an answer. Like, the answer wasn't jumping out at me.
Yeah, we basically had a tie on something that we did not have a tie on.
Oh.
But I'm like, I know there's a winner. Like,
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
hell? And someone's score just hadn't been tallied. Who,
Yeah.
Was it my score?
Yeah, it was yours. I had mixed up what you picked was your first and your second. I think sometimes when I behind the curtain here, sometimes when I'm listening and y'all are doing your
Break the
beer
fourth
tastings,
wall.
I will put down what I think y'all are going to say based on, how you're describing it, whether
Yeah.
you like it, those kinds of things.
Okay.
On
Like,
beers,
You're guessing.
yeah.
I like
And-
that. That's a fun game.
Yeah,
to
it's
play.
a fun game for one person in the world.
Well, I
But,
mean, maybe other people can do it. That's pretty
I
fun.
bet you there's some other people out there who
kind of listening
who
along.
guess. Yeah. They're like, oh, Brendan used a certain adjective. He tends to say that when it's a 3.5.
Well, they do on Corolla, they do the Rotten Tomato game where they try to guess the critic score of the movie. It's kind of like that.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Trying to guess our scores.
But we noticed an error, and I couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, I think this is the winner. And yesterday when he was over here, he asked me, he's like, you know which one? And I was like, whichever one had Elijah Craig in it. It was like literally all I could. My brain wasn't processing, but so much. I was like,
Yesterday was a long day.
it was. It was. I expected yesterday to be like a crazy day, and it was not.
a light
and then
crowd.
It was a light crowd, but I managed to keep on going.
Yeah, it was something.
It became crazy
Yeah, it did.
in my head.
Especially when you're having to play like executive chef also.
And yeah, dude, that's that is why we had created the food challenge.
Yeah.
Because what you saw yesterday was basically what it was.
Yeah. You supplying for everybody all the time.
Everyone
Yeah.
coming over, bringing wings, and like, hey, smoke these, and it's like, damn, man.
Yeah. I wanted
What's
to watch
happening
some
on the
football.
games?
I was gonna watch my game, but what I didn't expect was my wife to be gone all day. So then, I'm just getting text messages. Your daughter needs help with her homework, or this needs to happen. I'm like, come on.
Didn't she need help with her homework yesterday?
She probably needed help with her homework on Friday,
Yeah.
Saturday.
Would have been a great opportunity.
Plenty of opportunity to assist with the homework.
Except no, she needs it between 1 p.m. and 7 p.m. on
I
a
came
Sunday.
to
Correct.
I came to your defense. I don't know if it helped. Probably didn't ultimately, but she was like giving you a bunch of grief about not helping. And I was like, he was in there for like an hour and a half,
Which
like,
was a lie. Well, I don't know.
no, you were in there for a long time.
I don't know how long I was in there because the day
You were doing the cooking too, but like you were gone for quite a long time.
I know I helped, and then
Yeah.
I found out I didn't help that much because
Well-
we got our grades back today.
Oh no,
I'm not doing well in 5th grade.
yeah,
I'm doing better in 6th grade than I am in 5th, and this is my second time taking 5th grade in 2 years. So I
Yeah,
should be.
You would think that.
yeah.
You'd think I'd have this buttoned up, but like I gave her some answers, and then like to the point that I'm like, your teacher's wrong.
Oh well, you should
You're
know
really-
that's not true.
No, I even like pulled him up on like Google,
Uh-huh.
like just to prove a point, and like I'm like, see,
Are these math things?
no, it was English yesterday that I was working on,
Oh,
but like I was trying to explain to her, all right, correspondence.
yes.
the definition of correspondence in my mind, what jumped out at me was either a letter exchange or an email exchange where you communicate back and forth.
I would jump to that.
Okay. Well, that was kind of how I explained her it was. Well, they were talking about how something corresponds to something else.
So how it relates to something.
How it relates to something. But that's not where my brain went.
Yeah.
And so the teacher was like, nah, that's not right. And I'm like, technically it is.
Yeah.
Both
kinda
are
right.
right. That's how the English language works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have multiple definitions for the same word.
Yes.
Different uses.
It's a homonym, you jackass.
Well, and I would say the more popular use would be what you and I, the three of us, think it is. Like, if we all think it's that.
Yeah.
I thought so. That's what and so we wrote it out. We used it in a sentence. She's like, nope. I'm like, come on. That's literally.
I think more of the word like corresponds with something rather than correspondence.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that to me almost is the exchanging of messages. Like you
Well,
said.
there's.
Back and forth.
Unfortunately, now the teacher is going to have some correspondence with me because she said that it wasn't right. Because when my daughter said she got 7 out of 11 right, I was like, that's not good, honey.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not impressed right now. like so, but those were, I definitely had a hand in it. But what I didn't know is on the front side, there were 3 questions that she didn't bother me with.
Mhm.
So those 3 plus
Oh,
the one
nice.
correspondence thing that I'm like, nah, I'm not taking that out.
So she felt good about the first 3.
Yeah, she felt pretty strongly, I guess. And then was like, I need help. Probably needed help on the front side of
Maybe.
that too, but that's neither here nor there.
We've all learned something here. So,
Yeah, don't ask me to come in and help with your homework when I'm 6 beers deep.
Yeah. Another
Yeah.
fun thing, in addition to me being really good at math,
And
and
I
yeah, what
almost
else?
failed 6th grade English because I couldn't figure out like when you had to, just like diagram a sentence and you had to pick out what's the noun, what's the verb,
Yeah.
like all that
Yep.
shit. I was so bad at it. I was
So,
just constantly like fail.
Mad Libs
fail.
are a nightmare for
Dude,
you.
I hate it. So dumb. Just like write down my name for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's tough.
Well, those are the things that you use all day, every. Oh wait, you never use that shit.
And that's the thing. Like I've never once outside of school ever had to diagram
Yeah.
which type
You're
of word
telling
there is.
me that when you sat down for your job interview, they didn't push a piece of paper across the desk and say, "Please tell me the adjective."
Which
in
one's the adverb there, Lee?
Dude, I would start breaking out in like cold sweats, like the Key and Peele skit where he's just like sweating,
Yeah.
crying.
I definitely wouldn't know all the answers.
It sent me
to all
into a
those.
panic. Nouns, verbs, I got
Yes,
that.
yes.
Adjectives, feel strong. Adverbs,
Yeah.
couldn't tell you.
It's the one that ends in ly.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Not always, but most of
Yeah.
the time.
I learned that later in life.
Yes. Like, and where's the hanging Chad or the dangling modifier? You're like,
Fuck if I know.
yeah, that's not great. Could we use a colon here?
I just be spreading out colons everywhere in my sentences when I say
Dude, I sprinkle colons in all the time.
it
and
seems super profesh.
it does. If you can get away with not using a conjunction and just drop the colon in there and be like, nah, this is how we're going to do this. Right? Is this a semicolon?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Two
Drop the
different things.
semicolon in there. I love that.
It's-
But then I do go back and read it like a dozen times to be like, because you want to look smart, but I think an improper placed piece of punctuation
Oh,
actually
yeah.
makes you look
Dumbass.
dumber.
Yeah.
Yep. So you got to go out on that limb though. Like,
Yeah.
no.
So like every third word.
Yeah, that's how you do it. Every third word after an adverb, you just drop a
Drop a
semicolon.
semicolon.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck to put them. It's like when Outlook or Word sits there and is like, "Did you really mean to use this?" I was like, "Yes, bitch, I did. Trust me, this is what I wanted."
What's
Yes.
ba-
And then a
what's
minute later,
bad-
you're like, "No, actually, you were right on that. I'm sorry."
What's bad is when you spell like I do, and the shit can't even like figure out what you're trying to spell.
He's like not even anywhere
Yeah.
close enough for it to figure it
You're
out.
like, that's not a word. I'm like, pretty sure it is.
Or it just recommends a totally different word. You're like, ooh, I must be nowhere near the word I was typing there.
We'll go with what you say. That's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah, okay, chrysanthemum. Why not? That makes perfect sense. Trying to write crisis. It's like, no, you meant chrysanthemum. Yeah,
Way
no.
too many letters.
This is not going well.
Should have stopped halfway
And it only
through.
makes us dumber.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
get so reliant on
yeah.
it. Gmail now, it does the predictive text.
Oh, yeah,
so you can just
yeah.
say like, "Hey, so and so," and then it'll fill in. how are you? I was like,
Yep.
all right, well, fine. How are you? It's like you can just let it write a whole email for you.
It almost can,
Yeah.
and it's getting good at my voice. Like the other day, it brought one up that I was like, wow.
Yeah,
That
it
is
learns the way.
precisely what I was about to
Yep.
say, and it was like 6 words, and not words that a normal person would use. Is just
Yeah.
kind of how I speak.
Yeah, it learns your.
Yeah, it
your
put the
way
next
of-
6 words, and I was like, that's spot on,
Yeah.
and was weird.
Like it knows how I end sentences or at the end of emails
Yeah.
and things like that. It'll kind of fill
Peace
in.
out.
That. Yeah. See you
Yes,
later.
yes, a little peace out right there at the end.
Audi 5000.
I would love that if it started just.
Just start putting.
It's
You're
predicting.
professional.
It's predicting your like 8th grade self.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, I wouldn't say. I mean,
Just
I would have.
start sending like 1,000 dummy emails that are just that, like
Yeah.
whatever ending, and see if it will pick that up.
I might just start doing that with like my wife's email. Like send myself emails
Yeah.
all the time, and then just start subbing in like certain things. So when she's typing, she's like, I do not want to do that. Why would it think I wanted to say that? Because maybe, just maybe, she'll send it. I'll pick up that phone. It's on. Yes, we're in.
Your phone knows you, honey.
Yes. Don't come on. That's AI.
It's AI.
It knows what you're
It's not
thinking.
wrong.
So smart.
Even if you didn't know you were thinking about
That's
that,
right.
you're thinking
Now
about
you are
that.
thinking about it.
Look at you now.
We're halfway home.
That would be great. I need to get her an email. Write me an email every night with just the worst shit. Like, so it just starts filling it in. Oh, sending Brendan. I would like you to. Jackpot. Oh, uh-oh. More brisket.
Coming back around.
Dude, I made a successful brisket this week, though.
You did. It was the crusties were
damn
delicious.
I was very happy with that. I went with an overnight, really slow and low method, and I was able to dial in my timing to within 30 minutes
That's
of when
awesome.
I wanted it.
Nice.
And it actually tasted good.
Was that on the pellet fired thing?
Yes.
So the Weber's working A-OK now?
It was beautiful. I literally set it up right as we were starting the podcast, and then I woke up in the morning and just looked at my phone and was like, you're good.
That's awesome.
That's great.
Science.
It's definitely taking like the work out of it. You still have to trim it and understand what you're doing, but you got to know which number to put in it. But that's about
I'm
it.
fucked.
Yeah, you are.
You gotta be able to look at your phone.
It's very difficult stuff. Very difficult stuff.
Not easy.
I was very pleased though. Like I actually got it right. I still probably have like 4 pounds of meat in there. That's
Really?
gonna slowly go bad.
How much was it? How many pounds did you cook?
12.
Oh my god.
You got a vac sealer?
I do.
Use that, dog.
Yeah, froze it.
So
Freeze it.
Yeah, but now it's been
That's okay.
days.
You're fine.
So when I go down to South Carolina, I always try and pick up barbecue from a place near Clemson, and I brought back like 4 or 5 pounds a couple years ago, and just immediately threw it in a cooler, cooled it down, sat all weekend in a cooler, and then got home, vac sealed it up. 6 months later, when you open it up, it still smells like smoke when it comes out of the bag, basically.
How
Wow.
awesome is that?
It's awesome.
Okay, I'm down.
Yeah.
Maybe I should give that a shot. Save
I
some
mean,
of
worth
that meat.
doing.
Can't hurt, right?
Yeah, I mean, middle of the winter, you don't feel like doing shit outside or whatever. Just pull out a pound of brisket and heat it up.
That's never this idiot. He'll be out there in the snow cooking.
I was as soon as you said middle of winter, I just had like these visions of me in the middle of the night working. Like, oh, that sounds great.
You put that thing together in the freezing cold rain.
Heck yeah, that's how it's done.
That's not how it's done.
I can't wait for it to get cold, only so I can just start doing stupid stuff in the middle of the night.
I love they didn't even bring it into the pallet house or his garage, like where he
Yeah.
could like have some light. He's like putting it together in the cold, in the dark, with a headlamp on at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, like our ancestors did before us.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly right. Light a fire, turn on your LED headlamp.
Yeah. Put together your grill.
Yeah, that electronically smokes your food all night for you. It is very much like the early 1900s here.
Yeah. Just like your great-great-grandfather did.
That's exactly right, and it works.
Yeah.
It does this time.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
now it
Only
works.
took you almost a year.
Yep. You know what else works? I'm very excited. So I bought that smaller solo stove
Mm-hmm.
because everyone.
Did we determine how many more you need to, hit for the cycle?
I have not seen the smaller one.
We'll set it up. We'll set it up. So there's a big debate when people are looking at solo stoves, and everybody's like,
Don't get one.
"Do I get the?"
It's actually a very short debate.
Yeah.
You have to get past that first debate, okay?
Don't be
So
dumb.
No, it's not. There's nothing dumb about it. A Solo Stove is a wise investment as far as I'm concerned.
Solo Stove is the Yeti
A
of
fire
of
pits.
fire pits. Yeah, like it doesn't. You can still have a fire without a Solo Stove, but if you ask any Solo Stove owner, you've been doing it wrong since the dawn of time, since a man first made fire. Like that was wrong.
Absolutely. I'm not even going to argue. I mean, yes.
It's dumb. Do I love it? Yes.
It is. So, all right. If you can get past the first hurdle, the first question is, are Solo Stoves stupid or are they cool? Now, if you say they're stupid, your journey ends there.
Yes.
That's very simple. But if you say, yes, it's cool, okay, now you have a journey that's still ongoing. And the thing that everyone tries to figure out is, do you buy the Yukon, which is the big honker, or the Bonfire, which is like smaller and more portable?
Uh-huh.
Now, there is a smaller size, the Ranger. But if you're even looking at the Ranger,
Don't.
because you're doing it wrong. You know, like people when they buy the Yeti,
That Ranger's for like cooking, like
oh, it's supposed to be
meal or
it's
something.
supposed to be so for a fire.
dude, you can't. I mean, that thing is like the size of a Solo cup.
No, it's bigger than the one that you saw over here that one day.
Yeah.
It's like this big.
Yeah,
but
but
it's like, what the hell?
Like
do
you
I
could do hot dogs over it if you wanted to. But it's not made. I mean, it's not made for cooking though. I didn't think.
No,
I thought it was solely for like personal.
the Solo Stove was invented as a cooking device
Okay.
for backpackers, but they were like the size of a Solo cup.
Mm.
And so you would take it out of your little backpack, you would throw twigs in it. It would be super efficient. You could boil water on it.
Mm.
That was the whole point of
Yeah.
it. And then they just kept making bigger and bigger ones.
Yeah, like American consumerism. You know. It's
Yeah.
like, we love this
Exactly.
size, but 20 times bigger.
And then there was a company called Brio, and they just made fire pits. And then they started adapting them to become stoves. So Solo Stove started getting out of the stove game into the fire pit game, and Brio started going the other way. And now they're the two that everyone.
Isn't there a campfire place in Richmond?
There is, and those are gorgeous. That's
Yeah.
called the Burley,
That's right. Yeah.
and it's like black metal with big wrought iron handles, and those are gorgeous.
Yeah.
And they have the same concept as the Solo Stove. They cost twice as much as a Solo Stove,
Yeah.
and I think
But they probably last longer.
they probably last longer in the elements, but
Yeah.
they're not as smoke free. Like I've sat
Yeah.
around many a Burley and a Solo Stove. Solo Stove's always less.
I always
smoke.
think the Solo Stoves don't put off that much heat.
And neither does the Burley because of how it's designed.
Yeah.
Like all the heat's coming out of the very top,
Top,
and
yeah.
it doesn't radiate out.
Yeah.
So yeah, you'll have cold feet.
It's great.
Yeah.
Great campfire.
Glad I spent this money to have cold feet and hypothermia.
Yeah. All the heat's just shooting straight up out of it.
Look, there's always a reason not to buy something.
You've never heard one.
He hasn't found one yet.
Yeah.
You're talking about like Yeti coolers and all. I saw today on Amazon that Amazon's making their own like roto mold.
Oh, really?
I mean, it looks identical to
That's
a Yeti.
awesome.
Different clasp than
Yeah,
what
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
else.
Okay, good. You got to start changing
Yeah.
some little things.
Yeah, but
Because
it's
Yeti is so happy these days.
oh, and they should be.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know if they were the OG ones or not technically.
They probably
it's-
weren't.
Pelican was.
Yeah,
or somebody,
Pelican, yeah.
somebody else. But like
no.
the ones look pretty nice. They've got ones that got a wheel on it. It surprised me. It just popped up right on my Amazon homepage today.
That's probably, I don't know the numbers, but I bet Yeti's, that stock's going down. I feel like they're not nearly as popular as they were a year or two ago.
I read something the other day that they have over 50% of the cooler market. I mean, how?
That can't be true.
It can't be. But that's what this stat was saying when they were talking about they were suing Igloo because Igloo's cups look exactly like the Yeti cup. They'd already sued Arctic. Arctic had to change all their coolers to look less like a Yeti. But now they're suing Igloo about the cups. And in that article, some little comment like they have 53% of the market share for coolers. And I'm like, how's that possible when there's cheap ass coolers?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've got Igloo and Coleman that have been around for
Says, why
4
would-
decades.
Yeah.
But maybe they're including the sales of the cups and all
Yeah.
those things because those
Maybe.
are everyone buys that.
It's a
stuff.
small market share, but when I was down at Clemson the other weekend, you see Yeti coolers everywhere, of course.
Yeah.
Just at our tailgate alone, which had between 12 and 15 people at it, there were 3 different large, full-size Yeti coolers that
Damn
we
right.
loaded up in the back of my pickup truck. So it was like everybody's got to carry their own one. And it's like, I believe that they're close to 50% of everything. But
A lot of brisket.
They might have 50% of the money, but
And maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's how they're determining market share dollars
Yeah.
spent.
just
Because
sold.
you would only have to buy one Yeti cooler to beat out 3 igloos.
yeah.
So that's probably a pretty good point. But I think the point I was getting at was if you buy that 6-pack Yeti, you just spend $200 on something that'll keep a 6-pack cold for 4 days.
Yeah.
You suck.
Why is it taking you 4 days to drink
Yeah,
6
yeah.
beers or whatever?
Exactly.
And who needs just 6 drinks? Like,
Yeah.
that's very, like,
I need
You
one
see
water
the-
a day for 6 days. This is the cooler for me.
Well, you see the lunch boxes that they make, which is
Oh,
similar
yeah.
to the same thing you're talking about. If you were somebody that truly was on an oil rig, a ranch hand, or things like that,
Yeah.
where you were out in the elements, I could understand wanting whatever the best of the best is to keep your shit cold and
Yeah.
all that. But you see
That's it.
soccer moms and short pump rolling with the the lunch boxes into their office jobs. And
yeah, it's like, hey, Karen,
we doing,
you're
man?
walking from your car and putting it right into the fridge
Yeah.
at the office
oh,
anyway.
I got a whole
like,
other beef with about people who pack their lunches into a lunchbox and then put the lunchbox into the fridge.
Does that bother you?
Oh my God. We had at my last place of work, there was one guy who had one of the biggest lunch boxes I've seen, and he would it took up half of a shelf
like
in
take
a fridge.
the whole
yes.
shelf up?
It's like, you have an insulated cooler. What are you doing? Why is it inside
Yeah.
of the fridge? It's insulating from your food getting cold.
yeah.
Yeah, just keep. Well, you don't want that dirty refrigerator cold
Oh,
creeping
that
in.
fridge was gross too.
See? You gotta-
So maybe he did have it right. I don't know.
There it is. But so what I was saying was if you buy the little Yeti, like you're doing it wrong. If you buy the little Solo Stove Ranger, you're doing it wrong. But the comment that you see everywhere is, should I buy the Yukon or the Bonfire? That's like the debate. And
What's the price on them?
You're dealing with about double the price to go from the
Oh,
Ranger
really?
to the Yukon. Yeah.
Isn't
give
the
or
big one
take.
like $450 or $500 or something
If you
like
get
that?
a good deal, but they want to charge like $550 normally for it, and then you can get so we'll call it about $200 more.
So, like maybe around 300 to around 500 for
Yeah.
the 2 different sizes?
Yeah, that's probably a fair way to look because there's always deals and
I don't like these jerks because I remember when they first came out, one of the podcasts that you and I listened to or used to listen to, they were sponsors, and if you use their Bogue code, you got $10 off.
10.
I was like, that's an insult. You're asking me to spend $4.90?
Yeah.
Like,
The $10 not even paying for shipping. even.
Yeah,
like
like-
you're not getting anything out of this.
no, it's a total waste.
plus it's like I wasn't gonna spend $500 on this stove, but now that I got this $10 coupon, I will definitely.
all of a sudden it makes sense,
Yeah.
right? That's exactly right. So I had I went back and forth, and the Duke has the Yukon, the
Yeah.
big one.
Duke
And
sighting
so-
yesterday.
And so I was over at the Duke's house, and he kept being like, "Go big or go home," which is usually pretty good logic.
That's the big one.
Yeah, so the big one's $469 right now.
Oh, that's a good deal.
And the
That's on sale.
the Bonfire one is $249.
Okay, so
So,
there
yeah.
it is. It's I
Yeah.
mean it's
Yeah,
it's a big jump.
Yeah.
And so I agreed with the Duke. I went big or go home, and I've been very pleased with it. But then I was over at Carter from Carbon Leaf's house, and he has both of them. And then he was pulling the Bonfire up on his deck and putting it on a stand and just putting it on the deck and having fires literally on a wooden deck. And I was like, that's kind of badass. And I didn't feel like I was losing anything. Like, he was still putting full-size logs in it. So I have learned now, while having both of them, if you're even slightly concerned about the dollars in it, just get the Bonfire, because it is more than enough to keep 4 people super warm, sitting around a fire. And I can throw it in the back of the truck. It comes with a case. You take it to the beach.
Does it collapse or anything?
No, it just has this
No?
big bag, and it just kind of
Okay.
cinches up, and like the stand fits inside of it.
I know
and
even the big one is. None of them are very big. Like as far as
yeah, the big one.
stoves go, they're not.
I mean, I think the big one's 27 inches across,
Yeah, that's not that big.
but most logs are like 16 inches.
Yeah.
So you got all this room. You got 11 inches of space. So you're just throwing logs in there, and it burns at a ludicrous rate. I mean, you'll go through wood.
Yeah, so if you're like trying to get rid of old firewood, like
which I was,
Well, especially too once you get it hot,
Yeah.
like then it really just starts to eat.
but the Bonfire starts to eat too. And
Yeah.
you can get a full-size log in it, And the fact that it's portable, like if you're going to put it in a fire pit in your yard or it's going to become like a stationary piece, then go Yukon. But if you have any dreams of traveling with it, taking it anywhere, the debate's over. Like
I feel like
the
what'd you say
bonfire's awesome.
how much was it? $225, something like that? Like
$250 for the bonfire one right
that's
now.
not bad. Like that's not a $500. Like
well, people who have the Yukon are going to clown you. Oh, you got the little one?
yeah.
Well, I mean,
But I have both of them. It's
So you clown everybody.
no matter what you have, I go, wrong choice.
Yeah.
You blew it.
You don't have both?
Yeah.
how's it like to be poor?
Poor people. Am I right?
How's your Arctic nerd?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's an Ozark Trail.
Ooh.
So it is the bonfire one is 8 or 9 inches smaller in diameter.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's going to make it a little more difficult to like fit logs and stuff in it. This says logs up to 16 inches can fit in there.
See, my numbers are spot
He's
on.
done his research.
That's right.
Yeah.
But
He's made like spreadsheets and
But you're
charts.
saying you say it works.
Yeah, I'm saying I no longer see the need to go up to the Yukon unless you really are going to keep it stationary. That bonfire is awesome. You just throw it in its case, take it somewhere. Like you could go to a friend's house,
And take it with you.
bring a fire pit,
That's cool.
throw some wood in the back of your truck, show up and be like, hey, we're going to have a fire. Sweet.
And you couldn't have done that without this fire pit because Lord knows.
How are you going to do that?
Yeah, how could
What
they-
are you just
how
going to
could
bring
you-
wood
Yeah.
and a match? Oh, I also highly recommend the torch that I have.
Oh, of course you got the torch.
The grill gun is
Oh, I thought you bought their. I thought they Solo Stove had a special lighting torch that you were suckered into buying.
I bet
No.
you they do though, because they do
Yeah.
on the frequently asked questions. It's like, do I need to buy any accessories?
yeah, but they don't have a torch. Trust me, you want the
This
grill
is
gun.
this is the response. Do I need to purchase any accessories? No, your fire pit is ready to use with just wood. However, we do offer several accessories to make your experience
have
even
those.
better.
I have all the accessories.
Yeah, you do.
For the bonfire. The Yukons, I didn't buy the stand. Look at me.
Yeah, but you got the like pokers and stuff.
Yes, I do.
You're
The
such
official-
a sucker. You're such a
official-
sucker.
Solo stove.
So you're like $1,000 into this Solo Stove thing.
But am I going to poke wood with some lesser stick?
Do you want to guess how much he paid for these Solo Stove fire pit tools?
$100.
It's actually less than that.
Boom.
$48.
$50 for 2 pokers.
No, it's also got the calipers you can pick up logs.
Oh.
Those logs are very hot. Now, normal logs when they're on fire are easily maneuverable by hand. But in a Solo Stove,
It's
they're
so
actually
hot.
they're
They're
like
so
they're
hot.
they're almost as hot as fire.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you know how often you have to move logs around once the
Yeah,
fire's
you got to
going.
constantly be working it. I mean, like
Brendan does actually. I've seen him.
I am so fidgety.
He just will not leave the fire alone. Solo Stove firewood for
Yeah.
$20.
yeah, you can
Nice.
buy
The best.
approximately
It's the best
6
firewood.
pieces of firewood for $18.99.
Yeah. It's Australian like hardwood though, or
Nah, it's
something.
just juniper.
Let me guess.
What
you
smells
bought it.
better than No, I would never. That's ludicrous.
I told you about my neighbor who found an old washing machine that had the steel drum with the holes
in it?
through it,
Yeah.
and that thing burns just like a Solo Stove. It's
No,
crazy.
It's different.
No.
No, it is. It's different because heat escapes through those holes.
Oh yeah,
like
so
when
it
you
works
want
better.
When you
Well, if you're doing a fire for heat,
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's differences there.
There are some people that do like campfires for heat. Those
Gross.
weirdos.
Yeah. Homeless people.
you can also purchase
That is what homeless people have it for, Troy. I just like to stare at it.
I just like to look at my shiny stove.
all the money
That's
you
right.
spent to look at the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes I just throw money in it.
You have to stand up and over top of it to see into it.
That's right. Yeah. Homeless people want heat.
Yeah.
Could I also interest you in the 5-star rated $20 color packs?
Oh yeah, they
Ooh.
make your flames change color.
Yeah.
I have not ventured that far. That seems gimmicky.
You know what you can do to make your flames change color? Throw some styrofoam in there every now
There
and
you
then.
go.
You know? Mix it up.
In my Solo Stove? No. I will burn that in the homeless drum. That's what that's for. Like, I get mad. I saw someone try to throw a can in there last year. It's like, go, don't you dare.
Oh yeah.
This isn't a regular fire.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right. I hear a mocking tone, but I also think you get me because That's kind of my point.
Oh, I get you.
Okay. I think we're on the same page. Not sure.
I don't know about the same team, but same page, yes.
I just like
Willing to accept that.
I'd like one person to admit that they shouldn't have bought that thing, but I don't think anyone will.
I'm sure I have things that I regret buying. I mean,
No, I'm talking about the Solo stove.
Oh, we're talking specifically about
Yeah.
no one regrets that.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of 5-star reviews on that website, Troy. And
What are they
those
gonna
wouldn't
say?
lie.
Yeah.
I'm serious. You won't. If you had it, you'd be like, I love it.
I would have to. I'd have to tell myself that.
I just made a fucking truck payment on it.
Yeah.
I tell you, the more and more I ride around with that big igloo, and then have the Yeti there, it's night and day the ice retention difference between
And
those
the
two
Yeti.
coolers.
Oh, yeah.
Like, as much as I'm hyping up that igloo, that thing is the greatest for one awesome day.
Yeah.
But it guzzles some ice otherwise.
Dude, I'll come out here 3 days later and just open up the Yeti, and there's still ice in there, and the igloo, everything in there just has like a smell. And
Room
it's a little-
temperature water.
It's just a little
It's not even
gross.
cold anymore.
No. It's a very different ball game.
But again, who needs ice for 5 days? Most people don't. You need it for a day or a day and a night, you know, like,
And that's why I recommend the igloo.
yeah. With the wheels.
Big ass rims.
Those are pretty hefty.
We got to stop talking about my consumerism. And like, this
Let's
is
talk
not
about your other version of consumerism.
It's just not a
Gnomes.
topic I get too excited about. Are these cups labeled?
Hell no, I labeled mine.
That's fair.
Y'all
what
would
do we
yell
got?
at me
Enough.
for something I didn't do right.
Yeah, so are we going to do the bourbon tasting now?
Yeah, I think we got to do a bourbon tasting. And I've never even heard of what's this thing? This is Heaven's Door.
Yeah, Heaven's Door and Waffins.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
I've never heard of this before. I'm gonna try and read.
How do I spell Wathens?
WATHEN''S.
Look at you.
I know.
You got your
Fancy.
punctuation.
I didn't have any issues with punctuation. It was really just the adverbs, I think, when I look back at it. I was a good student. I was a teacher's pet in a lot of classes, too.
Not English.
That dude hated me.
Oh.
He had a grudge out for me. And he's the only teacher I think I've ever had that I felt like we got
Was
beef.
singling you out.
Yes. And I know for a fact he wasn't because I sucked. But, like, again, I can look back at it and say that I know that this sucked. But
I had one English teacher at one time who said my handwriting was so bad that he would put a plastic bag around my hand, and then he would tape it around my wrist.
What?
Because he said that my hand wasn't sliding. He said, and he's right, that I will put my hand down
Write
and I
the
will write,
word.
and I will just let that pen get crammed into my hand before I move it. Like, I don't move my hand along as I'm writing. And so the word starts okay, and then by the end of it, it's just a nightmare.
just
And so the
lines.
longer the word, the worse it looks. And so he would,
Man,
literally-
correspondence must
he
have been
would-
tough for you to write.
Oh yeah, it'd be core. That was basically it.
So these are all, if I remember correctly, you said 2 of them were 50 and 1 was 54.
Yeah. So I think he said that the Wathins was around 50. This Heaven's Door was around 50 also. And then the last one we've got is Jefferson's Reserve. And this is the very old, very small batch. They've
So-
got a couple of different levels to that.
I was going to bring the Buffalo Trace in, and you yelled at me and said it was too expensive and we couldn't bring it. So I don't understand how that works.
Buffalo Trace you can't get readily at an ABC.
You have it.
That was a fluke.
I have it. You have it. Everyone
you-
has it.
But you can't go and just get it.
So
That's the whole point. I'm trying to figure out what my go-to bourbon is.
you can't go and get a lot of these. Actually, all these you can.
Every one of these you can. And didn't we actually rate Buffalo Trace on the very first one?
Did we?
I think we might have.
I don't know.
Y'all did the Weller, which was a surprise.
It was the Weller.
Yeah, the Weller, which was a surprising choice because that is not one that's necessarily easily found.
Well, in Brendan's world, that's all that matters.
Well, the rules changed.
Yes.
Like, I started it, and then I really thought about it later. That actually adds
That's
up.
kind of how we do everything, right?
I think so. All right, so I'm pretty excited. I got a Jefferson's Reserve, which, you know what sucks? The one I really want is the one that like sits on the boat, Jefferson's Ocean.
Yeah, Jefferson's Ocean is good.
So they put it in a cask, right? And then they put the cask on a boat. And they say that the sloshing
waves?
of the sea makes it really take on some of the flavors.
It also says that it kind of imparts some of that salty air.
Oh, yeah.
into it, too.
That's probably pretty good. I haven't even heard of that.
But that's a great gimmick, right?
Yeah.
You got a knife on you. You might need to cut that or something. I can't twist that off.
So what do we know about these here?
Here's what I know. So we have Heaven's Door, we have Jefferson's Reserve, and then we have Waltons. So Heaven's Door is one that Bob Dylan made. So that's a Knocking on Heaven's Door reference. And then the Waltons just look different than everything else in the liquor store, so I just bought it. And then the Jefferson's that's a big name, but I can't afford Jefferson's Ocean, so I got the best that fits into our category. And that's kind of how I'm.
Does anyone like Bob Dylan?
Bob Dylan's mom says he may be the best singer-songwriter of our generation.
I don't know anyone who likes him.
My dad loves Bob Dylan.
Well, I
does
guess
my
I should
sister.
have said like in our age range.
I was gonna say I will every now and then get a hankering that I want to hear that particular type of music, and I'll listen to it for a day, and then I'll be good for the next month, 6 months, whatever it ends up being.
I just think his voice is awful.
It's a unique experience for sure. Some people find it like very grating, and it's just so raw and scratchy. That's just
At first sip, I feel the same way about his fucking bourbon.
this bourbon.
Are
is,
they all about the same proof?
No.
Let's see. The Jefferson's is 90 proof,
Wathins is 94.
and Heaven's Door is 92. Good to see he's making money on something.
Yeah, he's had a rough go. And he's a fucking Nobel Prize laureate.
I don't get it. God, I don't even want to try these. Oh,
Did you ever even pour a beer yet?
I've had a half a beer.
Yeah.
I'm still paying for yesterday. Yesterday was a long day. Good 7.
I think I have an
straight
opinion.
hours. Already?
I have a pretty strong opinion just between the first two I had, and I've had the other one pretty recently, so I know.
Like, I think I have an opinion. That's weird. I'll let it water down a little bit and see if it changes anything. But Wathins, I don't know about that.
That one was very, like, caramelly to me.
Yeah, but then also has some. It's just not what I expected.
Yeah. I mean, I literally have never heard of this before, and I don't pretend to be a bourbon connoisseur or anything like that, but
all it has is caramel. Like, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of much else.
It's super smooth, like no heat to it.
But there's not a lot going on.
Nah,
Like, I'm like, oh, disappointed.
like I wouldn't even want that as a mixer for something because it doesn't give you any like bourbon flavor to me.
Doesn't have a cool look either.
No,
Yeah.
that's why I jumped out of me. I was like, hey, if they didn't spend any money on marketing,
Yeah,
what if it's all in the bottle?
Yeah.
yeah,
And then it cost
like that Beechwood aging.
yes,
This is
you.
the Budweiser of bourbons.
it may be. I tell you, Heaven's Door went from "fuck you" to "hey, buddy."
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
That's-
changed.
I think
Probably the
I agree.
alcohol.
Yeah, that first sip of the Heaven's Door was a little.
Yeah, that did
Rough.
not.
It was a little rough, but as soon as it started getting cut a little bit, that's why I try to get them in quick. Like, I want to have like a real taste, and based on real taste, Heaven's Door disappointed right away. And then now that it's getting cut,
It still has like a flatness at the end that
there's something weird about it.
It's got a weird.
I'm somebody
end
that
note.
I don't want the 130 proof or anything like that, but I want there to be some of that heat, some of that spice to it. There's a time and a place for the super smooth, pour it and eat, drink it all the time, but sometimes you want something with a little more spice to it.
Oh, when we do these, it's so hard. When you're just going back and forth between
I'm
the
done.
three.
I'm done. Like,
Well, go ahead. I'll go last.
So for me, the Wathins, it was kind of my dark horse going in. I wanted it to be the one because it was different. No one
Yeah.
had heard of it. So I was like, I want Wathins to win. usually when I want something like that, and particularly with these bourbon tastings, it just hasn't come to fruition for me.
You gonna write down the score?
And unfortunately for this one, Wathins came in last for me.
Oh, really?
It did. The first sip was a little too much, right? And then when it cut, it just faded to nothing, and it went all caramel, which is actually not a bad flavor profile. I'm just like of what I'm tasting today. Like if this had been like lower end bourbons, I probably would have been like, that's my jam. The Heaven's Door immediately on the very first sip was like a little grating. It kind of like, so it was funny. You guys were dogging his voice, and I was like, yeah, that's about right with his bourbon. But then it started mellowing out. It gets really good. Heaven's Door is actually a perfectly fine bourbon. There is something in the aftertaste, though, and I don't know what it is.
Yes.
There's just a little bite, right?
There's something
hangs
I don't
on.
like at the end of it.
But the flavor going in, I really dig. And then there's this bite at the end that means it can't win for me. So the Wathins doesn't bring enough to the table to be a winner, is unfortunately where that ends. Heaven's Door has got a lot of good flavor, things going on, but then there's this funky aftertaste at the end that I just can't quite put my
describe
finger
it.
on. Yeah, I mean, it's almost burnt, but it's not, but it's in that ballpark. But the Jefferson's Reserve, ooh, I can drink that by the gulp.
Yeah.
It's got vanilla, it's got caramel, it's super smooth. So and it's got a sweetness, almost like a weeded, but maybe I don't even know that it is. It's just kind of in that rate. Oh, you know what? The Heaven's Door finishes almost like a rye. I think that's what I'm picking up there. The Jefferson's Reserve, though, is smooth, super easy drinking. All the flavors are balanced and right. So for me, it's not a question. Jefferson's Reserve, 1. Heaven's Door, 2. Wathins, 3.
You made your decisions yet?
Go ahead. Or you want to go last?
I mean,
Hey, 1's the best.
Yeah.
yeah.
One gets your
Every
number
time.
one gets
golf
one.
scores.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
That's kind of hard to tell when you're knocking them back to back to back, but
It always is.
it is weird and or funny and or ironic that they did change as I went back and sipped them multiple times.
That's
and as
always
they
the
cut a little,
case, yep.
because I had the Wathins up top for a minute. And
when
then-
it wasn't cut.
yeah, when it wasn't cut, I thought
Yeah.
it was really good. Right up there with the Jefferson's Reserve. And I immediately wanted to do a spit take with the Heaven's Door.
Oh, you really didn't like
Not
Heaven's
not
Door.
not on the first take, but as I drink more of this Wathins and it cuts with the ice, it just slides back down to the end. Like
That's sad.
it's so. And I just put a couple cubes of ice in it. I mean, it's not. Maybe I watered it down too much. I don't know, but it is just really. And it could be a good thing if that's what you're looking for, but there's just not a lot. Like you were saying, there's just not a lot going
If you want
on.
something that's not going to
It doesn't bite.
overpower your palate or be like, that's actually a really good sipping bourbon if you're not looking for flavor and heat and all
Yeah.
these kind of things. If you're just looking for like, I want a hint of bourbon and it to go away, it's probably a pretty good bourbon.
It doesn't have any of the like
No.
no fire, no bite.
Yeah, allow me to say all of these are actually okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm having to split the hairs here.
So I have Wathins in third. Is that where you had yours?
Yeah, that's where the
Okay.
Wathins was.
So basically, mine is exactly the way yours is.
Heaven's Door.
Heaven's Door
2,
moved
and
up to
then-
2, and Jefferson's Reserve finished in the 1 spot, which I kind of had an idea that was. I've had that. I haven't had the other 2, but I've had Jefferson's Reserve.
I've never had any of them, so this was eye-opening for me.
So I was hoping that you would go second and mix it up a little bit, but I agree exactly with where y'all are on
Oh
that.
shit! We literally 1, 2, 3 this thing.
Yeah. I mean, all the points that were already said. The Wathins, to me, I keep coming back to. It's almost like a buttery Chardonnay, where it's like you just couldn't do too much of it. It's too rich or something.
Yeah.
Like you don't want a lot of that for me. The Heaven's Door, I think, is very good for what it is. That aftertaste, though, I keep going back
What
to
is
it to
it?
try
I
and
don't know.
figure it
Yeah,
out.
I can't
and
figure it out.
I'm going to have to look into it because it's intriguing.
It's like burnt pepper.
All the way
I don't know how
through
to-
is great, and then once it's out of your mouth and you're just kind of sitting there, it dries it out. It's like a super, super funky IPA almost, like where you have that just leftover residue or
What
something.
is that, though?
It's so weird.
Yeah. And then the Jefferson being number one, it's a great bourbon. I have it at the house all the time. It's one of my go-tos.
Oh, so you knew going in, like, you were a fan of that.
Yeah, I was hoping that something could push that a little bit, but it was never close for me. The Jefferson is fantastic. It is a great bottle of bourbon for under $60.
So here's the problem I'm seeing with the Jefferson's Reserve already. That feels like the best bourbon we've tasted. Like, in my mind, like, I'm going back and thinking about them. I think the Blade and Bow was similar to that. I think those two are going to battle it out from what I've tasted thus far. But they're unfortunately...
Is this our fourth one we've done? Third one?
Yeah, fourth one. So unfortunately, fifth one.
Fifth one.
So unfortunately for Jefferson's Reserve, since it is the higher end of the price range, it's going to have to go into the high-end bracket, which will put it right up against Blade and Bow early.
Well,
Ooh, that's going to be a
told you
good
before-
round 2 matchup.
Yeah, I told you before we started. This one, the Jefferson and Four Roses Single Barrel, I think are outstanding bourbons.
Jay likes that Four Roses, right?
Yeah, and that the Four
And I've had
Roses,
that.
the Four Roses is a $45 bottle. And
Didn't
it is
that
fantastic.
win though?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be
I
up,
think-
but that'll fall into the lower range price point. So
Yeah.
it might just whoop up on the larceny.
And they have a couple different.
Four Roses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
couple
like there's
different.
there's a small batch. There's
Yeah.
a select reserve, I think they call it also too. You can also just get
Oh.
you like straight Four Roses, just like in
Yeah.
a plastic bottle. Like, but no, the Jefferson is great. And you mentioned it earlier, like how easy you took like one sip and you were already ready for another one. That's how I feel when I drink
as
it
soon
at
as
the
I
house.
had it neat, and I went, I really like that. So I had them all essentially neat, and I was like, okay, no question.
Yeah.
Jefferson's Reserve's the winner here. And then I let them water down, and the only thing that changed was the Wathans and the Heaven's Door flipped.
Yeah.
The Jefferson's Reserve was never a question.
Yeah, that's the problem I have at the house with the Jefferson though. Is I'll pour a finger or two and say like, oh, this will be what I have for tonight, and then I find myself going back to the bottle 2 or 3 times because it just goes so quickly.
Yeah, that's a tasty bourbon. Damn. I mean, it swept. We haven't had a clean sweep yet.
Yeah, it was wire to
No,
wire.
yeah.
That's
And the second places and third places.
you know what I'm saying? We've never had that. Like,
That's what I said. I wanted you to go after he said his. I wanted you to go to be like, mix something up, and then you started talking about it. I was like, son of a bitch.
I mean, usually we hem and haw for 30 minutes. 10 minutes, it's over.
Yeah, we
I
didn't get enough out of that.
I
That
got no
was pretty-
content. I didn't prep for this.
We messed that up. We can do the deli.
I was gonna say you could open up the Buffalo Trace and do that one back to back with the Jefferson to compare those two.
I don't need to know. I've had the Buffalo Trace. I know that is overrated.
I don't think it's
I don't
overrated.
think it's overrated, and here's my issue with it. For a $26 bottle of bourbon,
My bad.
not overrated.
Yes.
For scarcity, yes, I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find other things. Again, you can go to just about any liquor store and find a single barrel for Four Roses.
Yeah.
You pay twice as much or a little under that, but it is just as good, and you can find it anywhere.
How much was that bottle?
$27.99.
$27? $26?
Oh, really? Is it a $7.50?
Yeah.
Oh wow, because I paid $55 for it up in.
But that's because
Maryland.
they've already price adjusted.
Yeah.
Because they don't have we have the monopoly here, so you get it at MSRP.
I don't think it's bad for $55, but like Lee was saying, you can find better deals. I mean.
Yeah, but at 26, no, I'll give you that. When I got it the first time, I thought it was going to be.
You
Like
thought it was going to be
changing?
Pappy-esque. It was going to be.
Sure, I thought it was going to be something grander, and I had it, and I go, oh no, that's just good bourbon.
It's just good baseline. You know exactly what you're going to get every single time because Buffalo Trace Distillery has done this for 100 years.
Yeah.
They've perfected
Yeah.
that recipe, and there's a reason that people go back to it.
But I would put that in a mixed drink, and I know that's a sin. Everyone's gonna.
Everybody does what they want. I mean, that's.
But if that wasn't scarce,
yeah, that would be an easy mixing.
Yeah, I mean.
yeah, that'd be my mixer because it's
Yeah.
$26 a bottle. That's my mixing bourbon. That's just what it would be.
Yeah.
And I thought it was going to be like some crazy
Bourbon nerds
sipping
hate
bourbon.
That. They hate when you put ice in it. They hate when you do anything.
You go, you man. Good. That's awesome.
That was a long touchdown.
That was a long touchdown. For a man who's got the over and the Colts in a parlay, I'm super psyched about it. And that dude in fantasy, win, win, win.
Wow.
Like I am all in on that action. But that's neither here nor there. Why talk
Ooh, it
about
was a reception too.
Yeah. Well, let's not talk inside baseball.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. This game will be dead and gone by the time this comes out. Everyone will be looking forward to the Bears-Packers game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's
That's
looking
all.
forward to that.
That's what everybody's talking
Everybody in
about.
the country will be talking about it, I'm sure.
I don't see what else there is to talk about. But I try to keep us away from that here. Oh, you know what brought up that whole solo stove conversation? Is I brought it to the beach. And like I set it up in the backyard.
You mentioned bringing it to the beach. I actually think that is the perfect application I can think of, is taking it out onto the beach
And I
to
wanted
have
to
it
take
in
it,
a
but
contained
the
thing.
particular place I was said no fires on the beach, and I was like,
Rule follower.
well, I was thinking I could probably get around that because like I am in a fire pit, but at the same time,
I mean, they're definitely talking about digging a hole on the beach and creating a bonfire.
100%,
Yeah.
100%.
But I think they still probably would roll up on you if you.
The beach used to be where you could do all the fun stuff. You could have fires.
that's
you
what
could
you're
throw
supposed
a football.
to
you
do.
could
could
wear a
let your
Michael
dog-
Myers mask and walk down
Yeah.
the beach holding a knife.
You could let your dog
You
off
could
the
let
leash.
your dog off the leash. You could
Drink a
you
beer.
could drink a beer. That freaking list at the side of the entrance is longer than I am tall.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking because that really was it. It was like, oh, we're on the edge of the earth. I think we can do whatever the hell we want.
That's
Well,
what
the edge of the
every
earth is getting closer, though, so that's part
Yeah.
of the problem.
All the more reason you shouldn't worry about the fire because right there,
We got other problems.
I can assure you God's going to show up soon and put it out. And sand doesn't catch on fire.
And I was gonna say, and if you're gonna have a bonfire, the beach is about as great a place as you could.
It's the place.
It's all sand and then a bunch of water.
Yeah. Like, this is the place
Yeah.
to have a fire. But they didn't want it. But so I did drag it to the beach and just threw it in the backyard.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it was great. Every night we'd go out there and just sit around.
All those old movies, like all those campy beach movies from like the 50s and 60s, had people partying on the beach at night with a campfire, playing music, dancing, throwing a football, and now it's like, no, sit your ass down and shut up.
Literally just Karate Kid
Yeah.
had that exact
Yep.
scene in it.
Yeah.
That's one movie.
Until Ralph's punk ass Macho, he stole that
Yeah.
kid's radio. What
Yep.
a dick. Karate Kid was a bully.
He was.
A horrible human. Stole that and stole the dude's girl. Now we're
Yep.
upset that he's upset.
Yeah.
I think I get it.
Yeah, I know why he's upset.
He literally took his radio and his girl.
Yeah.
Kind of a dick.
Get shot in other countries for that.
No
Yeah.
shit. In this country.
Maybe even, yeah.
Yeah, no, now you just get to fight it out in a tournament and let that, and then the good guy loses. Heartbreaking. Quite the sad movie. And now you see the new Karate Kid redo, Cobra
yeah.
Kai, and my poor man's all fucking strung out on cores.
Yeah.
He fucking can't get his shit together. He's driving around in a crappy old car. Like, I feel bad, man.
All from that one L he took at the
Life-
All Valley tournament.
Life comes at you fast, bro.
I'm just saying, Miyagi-Do ruined that guy's life.
Yep.
That's
Miyagi don't play.
and then they go over to Okinawa and start beating people
Yeah,
up there.
start
There's a lot of fucking anger coming out of that dojo. All I'm saying.
They're quite pissed off, aren't they?
Quite angry. Now, Karate Kid Part 3, there was a lot of the Cobra Kai was a bad situation there. They finally tried to soften up Ralph Macchio's character. Why can't I remember his fucking name?
Was that the one where like Kreese, is that who you're talking about?
Yeah.
He hired like his buddy to
He
like
gets his buddy from Vietnam to come over and that dude like infiltrates Miyagi-Do. That one is
he
fantastic.
gets all in Daniel's head and like
Makes Daniel a
Yeah.
bad dude. Daniel's
Yeah.
beating people up in bars. Going to bars for starters. Like,
Yeah.
Daniel
14.
yeah. Like, by that time, they'd really figured out how to make Cobra Kai bad. So I think they realized in that first one,
They got
we
like
left a lot of gray area in there.
They got like splinter cells and shit out
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
for some one person dojo in the valley of California. Like it's a lot of resources going to that one guy to take that one guy down.
Daniel's a bad dude.
Yeah.
Had to take him out. Yeah, because I made the girls watch all the Karate Kids one weekend.
Nice.
I was like, you know what we're doing? Karate Kid. They were like, "What's he smoking?" A cigarette. That's awkward. You roll your own cigarette? Yeah. It's the 80s.
Yeah,
It's the 80s. Very different. Very different. Leave it alone. But,
Don't get any ideas about that either.
yeah. What are you doing? I feel bad tonight. I was out here and my daughter was on like a WebEx. She was playing Fortnite with her friend in WebEx and they were talking. She was like, Dad, and she was looking at the 3 bottles of bourbon. She didn't want them in the view. And I'm like, it's bourbon, honey.
Yeah.
Like I was like I didn't even know there was heroin in the house. Like I thought she was like playing something crazy. You know what I mean? She's like, no, move it. And she's like, I don't want my friend to know that you drink. And I go, honey, like on her Zoom call, I go, honey, I'm literally drinking all of those tonight. She's like, with other people. With other people. And I was like, okay, I'm embarrassing her a little. I was like, yes, we're going to taste the bourbons. And she was like, because my dad doesn't drink that much. I wanted to be like,
why is she lying for you?
I know, right?
But I don't even, in her mind, she's not lying.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like.
She doesn't spend 24/7 with you.
She does not. Like, if there's ever drinking going on, it's mostly out of the purview. Mostly.
Yeah, but like Sundays is an all-day affair.
It's a thing. It's a thing. But I realized then that was the first time she's like, she didn't want like there to be known that there's booze. So now I feel like I need to go to this kid's dad. Be like, would you like to drink a bourbon?
Yeah.
Have a bourbon with them. Like, just kind of normalize some things here. She was freaked out.
Yes, I don't drink a lot. Yes, I did build a bar in my backyard. That's not the same.
Also, yes, I've bought 40 bottles of bourbon in the last 3 months.
But you know how she knows I don't drink a lot? They're all there. Like, that is the truth. They all just sit there.
Well, like you said earlier, they're all the losers, though. All the ones that you don't want to keep drinking.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. No,
They're the
all
ones
I
you
want
hope
is,
you pawn off on people when they come over.
Yeah, these two, well, the Jeffersons, I mean, the Heaven's Door, at least there's a story there.
Yeah.
Like, I could be like, oh, this is Bob Dylan stuff. That'll go. What am I going to do with Wathans? Yeah.
Mix it. Just
pour
mix it.
I mean, I guess
It'll
I
be
can
fine.
mix it, but
Yeah.
it's a $50 bottle of bourbon. I'm over here just.
Well, I made a little suicide here, and it all evens out pretty well.
I love the suicides, except here I drank the Jeffersons down real quick.
Yeah.
That was a tasty treat, and the Heaven's Door is basically gone.
Yeah, I mean, he talks about bringing the mellowness of the
make a
Waffens. It all
blended.
comes up a little bit.
Yeah, that's not how it went down. Usually there's leftovers. That's not how it happened.
I don't know if
tonight.
we talked about it on the podcast, but I found a guy online that like does the blending. Have you seen this, Lee?
Yeah, you mentioned it, but there is the way that all the bourbons are made, the mash bills.
Yeah.
They're closely guarded secrets, and for obvious reasons to say
yeah.
they make money. But yeah, the reality is it's X amount of corn, X amount of wheat, X amount
Yeah.
of whatever it is. Yeah, you could grab this, it's a 3-year, grab this, it's a 6-year, and kind of start mixing around. You
Yeah,
can
that's
start
what he
fucking with
did.
it at the house.
Yeah, he's like
it's neat
2
that-
parts this and 1 part this, and then it equals the
Yeah.
rare bottle or whatever.
Yeah, and that's super smart, and it's awesome that there are people committed to that too, because that does allow somebody who's never going to afford a $100 ounce pour of something at a bar.
Yeah.
Hey, I can approximate this because all 3 of these bourbons came from the same distillery, the same rick houses, all this other stuff. You mix it out.
All you gotta do is get the discarded bottles and then just pour whatever swill you want in there.
Yeah, exactly.
I just almost died.
Yeah, I saw you walk out of the door.
That was horrible. So, like, I walked outside to take a leak. Usually we won't talk about this because, that stuff happens. Someone just peels away. The other people talk. It's very easy. My heart's racing. So I walk outside, dong in hand, because I was trying to be quick. So
Yeah.
as I was leaving the threshold, I was already
Preparing.
I was just, making a move.
Your back was towards us, and you were walking through the door.
Yeah, no one was going to see. And so it comes out, and then I hear jiggle, and I turn, and Stu's head is right here. And I didn't know it was him. Like, I was just like, all I'd heard, was those your keys in your hand? Yes. So I heard this.
The mic on?
Oh, yeah, sorry, he's muted. There you go.
Well, we can keep it that way if we want.
No, but that was, so I
There you
So I heard a jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. And I look up and there's a grown man standing next to me and my penis. And I was like,
Pretty normal circumstance
You
for
did
you.
squeal.
I did. I'm sure I
Yeah.
did. I'm sure it was an audible. Was there an audible sound that came out of my mouth?
Yes.
Yeah.
There wasn't a little bit. It wasn't loud, but it was.
And it was like,
Oh,
yo,
shit.
bitch.
Oh yeah, it was
right?
real
Huh?
manly.
Was my
Extra
immediate
manly,
reaction
yeah.
was fight, not flight, right?
No, because you're still holding your shit.
You definitely jumped back into
jumped
the building.
backwards into the door.
Did I?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean,
You disappeared from out of sight, and then you just backwards flew back in.
I was, yeah, dude, that messed me up. You threw me for a loop hard. I was like, it's over. I'm going to die. With my dong in my hand, whiskey on my breath.
Yeah,
That's how you wanna go.
Nobody's concerned about me. There's this guy coming at me with his dick in his hand.
I guess that's true. That was probably a little scary.
Okay.
That's why you pulled your keys out. You were like getting ready to do this. Yeah. I've been here before. Yeah, sorry, Sue. I guess
Sorry
that
about
was,
that.
I guess that was fairly shocking too. I guess that cuts both ways. I hadn't even thought about the other side.
You ever gotten in a fight in like a bar bathroom?
No,
I have
I've
not.
definitely had disagreements in a bar bathroom with randos, but I've never
There's not a
never
lot
gotten in a physical, actual fight.
Not a lot of space in the bathroom.
No,
That's
very,
the worst
very
place.
close combat.
Everything's covered in piss.
Yeah, one of the bars down on the bottom here in Richmond. I was at years ago, and some people in line got to pushing and shoving a long line out the guy's bathroom and shit. And you finally get inside. I'm standing there at a urinal trying to just take a leak, do my business, and all of a sudden the guys behind me start going, "Man, I'll hit you with your dick out." And he starts
shit.
pushing and shoving people, and everybody's now getting shoved into walls and stuff like that.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying to like finish up and get tucked
Get
back
out.
in because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last thing I want is,
Get
all up in
taken
this-
down from behind while your dick's out. Yeah, that'd be bad.
Like, this is the terrible spot for this. That line has always stuck with me, though. I'll hit you with your dick out.
That man means business.
Yeah, that dude's not afraid.
It definitely lets you know this is not going to be a fair fight.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. It's the equivalent. I'm going to stab you in your kidney, and then we'll fist fight.
Gonna spill out of the bathroom with your dick out, rolling around with somebody. That's not gonna look weird at all.
Yeah, the Facebook Live.
World star.
Yeah, it'd be
That
hard
was
to
a-
live that down.
A couple of the Oklahoma football players got in a fight in a bathroom bar, or the bar
Oh yeah.
back over the summer.
Yeah, I
And
remember
the
that.
two football dudes got worked up.
Yeah.
Um,
It was like some
because-
MMA guy or something, right?
Yeah, one of the guys was like an amateur MMA guy, and the other guy was a wrestler for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And those are the last two people I want to fight in a close combat.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. Where you can't go anywhere.
Exactly. The MMA guy had the football player down on the ground in the piss floor.
Yeah.
Real quick, like.
Didn't one of the football players get like really injured or something?
He like fucked up his orbital bone in his
Yeah.
eye and everything else. But yeah, he got shoved into a wall repeatedly. It was pretty rough.
You know, in
That doesn't
today's
sound good
in
at all.
today's world, with one, all the weapons, but two, like grown ass men taking like MMA classes and shit, like you're just better served keeping your mouth shut now. Like you don't know. I was talking with a dude at a party this past weekend. The guy's like, "Yeah, I do MMA," and he's a little guy, and I'm like, "Yeah, probably back in the day, I wouldn't have thought twice to call you out. Now it's like you're a 45-year-old dad.
Yeah.
I got 80 pounds on you, but you probably worked me over."
Yeah. He said, I just can't think of any place worse to take somebody on in a close combat
Yeah.
like that. And then by the way, find out that one dude's a college wrestler and the
Yeah.
other guy gets in the
don't
octagon
know.
regularly.
Getting whooped at like a daycare could be worse. Falling on kids and stuff.
Yeah.
I also wonder too, like, I mean,
the
I guess
urinals are so low to the ground. It sucks.
Yeah, it is tough.
I guess it doesn't happen, but I always wonder, like, these guys that do all the MMA shit, like, yeah, they know what to do, but like, and I haven't seen it, so I guess they really know what they're doing. But you think like somebody started like gouging eyes and like punching dicks and stuff, like getting dirty, like.
Yeah.
I guess once they get control of you, though, you can't really do anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's different for the first 15 seconds because they have to deal with whatever illegal things you're doing.
Yeah.
But then they got you.
Yeah.
It's over.
And you're going to sleep.
You have experience with
100%.
that.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, after picking up a few of these shifts at Kindred, it's come across my mind a couple times because a couple times people are just, one, they get drunk. So you're dealing with drunk people sometimes.
Yes.
But then two, you never know who that guy is, and you're trying to
Yeah.
stop him from driving away. Because then,
Oh, yeah. How do you deal with that? If somebody is obviously inebriated, I mean, you don't want them to drive out of there. So
well,
Is there like a protocol? Like you have to say it 3 times, and after that, it's on them.
Well, no, there's no real protocol. It's just shut them off, cut them off, make sure close their tab out. But
yeah,
shut them off, and then usually grab another bartender with me, and go escort them out. And then the first thing we do is we call the non-emergency number for Goochland. And then if we know where the person might be living, like there was a guy that was in the other night. He was hammered. I gave him a drink. He didn't look hammered, and then all of a sudden he was just like almost passed out. He had been down 3 other breweries. Wasn't our fault that he was hammered, and had to get him in his car. He had to stop him from getting in his car. It took about 40
we got him in his car.
Started
Put it in drive.
He literally. You ever seen?
You
those
should put your
guys-
headlights on, sir.
Yeah.
I think you're drunk.
Ooh, it's drizzling. Wipers on.
But he came in. He sat down at the bar. And he did one of those. Had half of his beer, and then his whole body just slumped over the chair.
It all caught up to
Meaning
him.
Yeah,
Boy, all
you
caught to him.
literally served him
The
one beer.
Right.
One beer.
And
Guess what? You're on the hook now.
now we had to. We said, "Hey, sir, you got to go." He started walking out, and he pulled his keys out. We're like, "Oh, fuck no!" So me and one of the other managers walked over, stood in front of his car for a while, argued with him, and he's like, "You want to go? There's nothing worse than a drunk guy." He's like, "You want to go?" And I'm like,
Be like,
"I'm
no,
dead sober.
I don't want to go. I don't
Yeah.
want you to go in that car either.
Right.
I'm here to
I was
help.
going to ask you, do people get rowdy there? I guess
Not really."
Yeah, I mean,
Because there's no liquor.
Yeah,
But
I mean-
if you show up at 12 o'clock on a Saturday,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
make that your
You
day.
can get people can get pretty inebriated, especially if you're doing the imperial stout all day, which
Yeah.
some guys do.
Yeah, a lot of breweries will limit. If it's over a certain ABV, they'll say like, "Hey, we can only do 6-ounce pours of these, or you can only do a certain number of
If
these."
it's
and things like
over
that.
8.9, we serve it in 13-ounce glasses instead of 16.
Which there's nothing I hate more than that
Yes.
dainty, curvy glass that you guys hand me.
The tulip.
I cannot stand that because it immediately means I ordered the wrong beer, is all I think. I go, damn it. I didn't want it in this snifter.
I hate when you don't know either, and you're like,
Yeah, you're just like, ooh, I'll try that.
that was $9 for a 10-ounce beer. Damn it.
Yeah, I'd rather have, because I'm drinking at for a different reason. I'm just there to hang out.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
I want a pint of beer that I can slowly sip, not 6 ounces of beer that I slowly sip and feel like I just had 2 pints.
Yeah.
This might be an unpopular opinion, but I almost
please
wish
do it.
that breweries served everything as like 9 or 10-ounce pours, just across the board, and price it accordingly. Like, don't charge me.
We don't
for a
have
pint.
anything less than 13.
Yeah, I'm somebody that likes to go to a brewery and try
A bunch.
one of everything.
Yeah,
Why don't
yeah,
we just
yeah.
get flights?
Yeah, and some places still do that, but a lot of places don't anymore.
Oh, and let me take it back just a step. Yeah, that's an unpopular opinion on this. But I understand what you're saying. Like, I would. So, you know who? Have you ever been out to the one in Powhatan, Fine Creek?
Mm-hmm.
All of the beers you can opt for in a 10-ounce.
Mm-hmm.
All
Love
of
it.
them. And so there will be days if it's super hot out and it's not really crowded, grab a 10-ounce every once in a while,
Yeah.
just like to have a little something. But typically I know that it's a pain in my ass to get back there to get a beer.
Yeah.
So I just want a pint of something light,
Yeah.
and
It
I'll
depends
just
too. Like, how
milk it.
crowded is it? Like,
That's
if
what
I'm
I
gonna be
mean. The
spending
crowded
45
matters.
minutes in line, I get that.
I hate when you go to those breweries that it ends up like that.
Yeah, because then you're like, what comes in a big gulp?
Yeah.
When I
And
went-
give me 2 of them.
I visited.
So to throw out something that I experienced was a very crowded day at Hardywood a week ago.
What's that, a Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the QR code on the table when you're outside for
Yeah.
beer delivery
Yeah.
is
Haven't
the
seen that.
quickest fucking thing ever.
Oh, I hadn't seen that.
Because
That's
there's
cool.
people I'm watching people stand in line for 20 minutes drinking a beer while they're in line.
Yeah.
And we just QR code, and the wine, the beer was like they have special people waiting.
You're allowed to go to Hardywood?
We promote local breweries.
I
Rising
assume-
tides raise all ships.
Yeah.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer.
But I was like, that's pretty ingenious.
Can't stand Hardywood.
I was gonna say, I visited Sweetwater years ago, and it was, you would get up to the front of the line, you would order your beer, and then you would just go back to
Yeah.
the back of the line, and then by the time you made it through the line, you
Great.
would
So the
be back-
party is the line?
Yeah, and it fucking sucks. Like,
Yeah, that's trash.
That reminds me of our experience at Hardywood at for
Stash
Stash
Bash,
Bash
yeah.
couple different times.
Yeah.
Yeah, you looked at me funny when I said I hated Hardywood. I think most of their beer sucks, and the one out here is awesome. I mean, it's got the greatest
yeah, it's a great space
ever, no doubt. But the one downtown, the original one, I don't like that they get all the credit, even though they weren't the original. for like they get all the credit for being like the OG Richmond brewery, and they're not. Almost every time I've ever been to the original one, the service is trash. I think most of their beer is trash, but
I can't agree with you. I like their beer. I understand about the service part, but I mean,
I think that's,
I like their beer.
We've had some certainly negative experiences when there were larger events there.
yeah,
It used to be any given Saturday, busy as hell, you could still do perfectly fine. I think them opening that or the West Creek location has certainly alleviated that in the downtown location. You go by there, and it's easy peasy now.
yeah.
At the downtown location.
Yeah.
I haven't been back since the West Creek
Yeah,
one
me either.
opened.
Well, they've completely renovated that, where they're now only in what used to be the Barrel House, the building to the right.
Yeah.
They built out like an awesome patio area. They've got a pizza kitchen there now too. Like, it's a full service place
Ooh,
now.
I like that.
And your point about them, they get a lot of credit. They really did advance what craft beer was
Yeah.
in Richmond. Yeah, you had Legend. You used to have the old Rich Brow and things like that. But
Well, they definitely got. They do deserve the credit for getting that whole Scott's Edition thing kind of cranking.
yeah, I
because
mean, they certainly took advantage.
there was nothing there. If
for
you, if
that.
you were around back then, I mean, there was nothing out there.
Well, I don't
And-
know if you wanted hookers or meth.
Yeah.
It's probably a good.
It's a good industrial warehouse
Yeah, if you need ductwork, hookers, or meth, that place had it.
and a strip club.
Yeah,
And then randomly a strip club. Yeah, that was it. Which kind of
hookers and meth.
fit the bill.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of worked. And then all of a sudden beer started showing up.
I can't tell
And
you how
somehow
many-
that made it a better.
It's more family
place?
friendly now.
Yeah, that is how weird is that? That is like, let's give them the fighty drug.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Oh, now it's for family.
It's funny you say family friendly because I was going to say I can't tell you how many times Hardywood on the weekends is doing their thing. The venue at West Creek is great. It's a great venue, but we'll get couples that are older or middle aged. I'd say anybody 35 and older that doesn't have kids or they want the
Oh,
weekend
yeah.
without their kids.
Mhm.
Like they left their kids at home for a reason.
Yeah.
So they go to Hardywood and they end up at Kindred and they're like, yeah, there's too many kids over there.
Oh, it's a
West Creek
daycare, dude.
on the weekends.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
is because it was.
Familied
It's
up.
family
It's
friendly.
designed for it.
Yeah.
Well,
They got the space
kind
for
of.
it, and that
Yeah.
and that's very unique to a lot of the breweries in Richmond too. Maybe a Triple Crossing that has a little more outdoor space.
but there should be breweries that are like
No kids allowed.
Yeah, right? I think you should cater to both. It's just like why I like bars with smoking sections. Like, if you don't like smoking, this place is going to suck for you.
Yeah.
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 I think some breweries should be able to be like, oh, sorry,
No
we're not
kids.
kid friendly. Or we're not dog friendly. Like,
think
not
it-
everybody
Yeah.
wants dogs
Yeah.
around them. And there are certain breweries that are no dog.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I appreciate that. Other times I'm taking my dog. I'm looking for the dog friendly place. But I like options.
Yeah, I think you as the consumer like options, but them as the business, they don't want to cut their potential visitors in half.
I get that. But you might be able to gain a more loyal following of like.
It's the
you
same
know-
thing we talk about with the smoking restaurant up here.
Yeah.
when they put the phone booth in for non-smoking section
Yeah,
or whatever.
and they ended up getting more customers
yeah.
because they became the only smoking.
There's always going to be
place
the
in
people that
town.
want to be the contrarians with it, and they're like that's their niche. They want to fall into that.
Yeah.
and it works. I struggle with it. 5 years ago, I used to be the same way. Like, our kids shouldn't be here, or if they are here, as soon as it gets dark, they got to go. And it's like, as I've gotten older, I realize those parents want to go out and have fun too with their friends. Like, why
The
would they
problem
keep them from doing
is,
that?
and I'm just as guilty, a lot of parents, once they get to those places, it's like, my kids are old enough and they're pretty well behaved, so they just run around like
Yeah.
crazy people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't like give them a test when they're coming in. Be like, nope,
Yeah.
that kid
Yeah,
sucks.
exactly.
That kid
Right.
can hang till
Yeah.
10 and never be a problem.
What if you had, instead of like at a bar where you have people that are like 86 and like not allowed, there's just like pictures of kids. Like surveillance photos of kids. You're like, that's Johnny. Fuck you.
Yeah, Johnny, you're out of here. Nice try sneaking Johnny, and I see through that
Yep.
mustache on
There's
that
like three
kid.
kids on a trench coat and
Yes.
trying to come
Like
The
those
little
kids.
rascal style.
exactly.
Get them out, man. Get them. I also would like bars where it's like you have to be 50. Like bars I couldn't get into. Like
Yeah.
so like I
You're
can
like
aspire
pined for that one.
Yeah,
day.
because then like at least there's something for me to look forward to, and I do think that like
just this one thing.
I think that like 50 to 70 crowd would probably enjoy a place where like
Oh, yeah.
No
the hottest
youngsters.
chick in there is literally 50.
No loud music.
Well, they got loud music. They got Bob
So-
Dylan.
Are they going to have like younger bartenders, or the bartenders have to be the
No,
same age too?
No, but don't you think if there was a place that was
The
like
service is
if
so
they're
good
just-
here.
they would never tip. You would never.
But imagine they're checking IDs like, nice try, 49-year-old, beat it.
See you next year, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I bet that place would
We
fill
should no,
up.
actually should just do the early bird special.
Oh my God.
The seniors special, like 2 hours beforehand.
This brewery's open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. After that, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
No, actually, what about like the 10 to noon crowd?
Right,
is
for
just
50 and
for,
up.
Yeah, it's
55
50 and
plus
up.
seniors.
Yeah, it's
That
like
way
the
they
early
can go
day-
in there early in the day.
like early COVID days when it's
Every-
like senior shopping hours at the grocery store.
Every year there's a couple new 50-year-old hotties that are
Oh,
Yes.
cream of the crop.
Yeah. Fresh
Slowly
meat.
rolling in with still
Yeah.
a tan ring where their
Yeah.
their wedding ring had
Used
been.
to see you at 7 p.m. all the time. Now it's 10 a.m.
Yep.
Welcome to the real party.
Those kids that graduated in 1984, they're coming up.
That's right.
Yeah, dude. That's the good stuff.
I can't tell you how many times people come in, especially these older ladies, that will come in and be like, "Do you have any wine?" I'm like, "It says brewery on the front of the building."
Yeah, a lot of places are serving wine.
I mean, I
and
know,
stuff now.
like a
It's
couple
crazy.
places to give it as an option, but it's like,
They should. You should have a red
That's
or
a-
white behind the and a sparkling.
Well, I think that has, and I might be wrong on this, but isn't there like there's ABC licensing issues with that though, isn't there? Or is
No,
that
beer,
only
beer
liquor?
and wine
No,
are
beer and wine
under
are the
the
same.
same.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're kind of silly
Yeah,
to
fuck it.
not
Why
have
isn't
it.
Kindred having wine?
Yeah, this is bullshit.
Could we run this up to ladder?
I think
too?
we're focusing on actually adding a kitchen.
So
you gotta get a
I feel like everybody's
that's
doing
get
that.
a
whole
local
nother
get a
level.
local wine company just sell their stuff.
Yeah, get like James
Yeah.
River.
Yeah.
Or fucking. I don't know, somebody else that's out. Who's
You know what
who's
I'm
the one
going to
that-
start? I'm going to start a wine truck.
There you
Pull
go.
up
Don't
next-
take my idea, bro.
Like, have you thought about the
Yeah.
wine truck? No, this
Oh,
is
yeah.
well, it's out there now. It's
No,
a
no,
really
we
good
cut it
idea.
off. Cut it off right here.
like if you pulled up outside of a brewery and then you got your food trucks and you've got your wine truck,
Little
and I've got-
charcuterie boards on the side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the reason that doesn't work right now, I mean, you could do it. It's a pain in the ass, but you'd have to get a permanent liquor license each day, the date, and where you're going to be. Because right now you have to have a physical address when you apply for that license. It's like having a wedding event catered.
Yeah.
I'll just run the taps back to the physical address.
Just
got
got miles
I got
and
a
miles.
mile hose. Just run that shit out. It'll come through a jockey box at the end.
Brendan's
It'll be
food truck.
cold.
We service within a half mile of my house.
That's as far as I can go.
Like, sorry, there must be a traffic jam somewhere on 64 because
Somebody's
someone's
tires
sitting.
just
Someone's sitting. As soon as the traffic moves, this wine will be flowing again.
And the only reason I knew that is because unlike the food truck idea, I looked into the same thing, beer and wine and food, but in the middle of Lake Anna on a pontoon boat.
Oh, and every day you'd have to read.
Yeah, because the first time I went to St. John, there was this guy who had a
Yeah.
36-foot pontoon boat called Angel's Rest. Right? Yeah. And you just called the number, and he'd come to your cove for 45 minutes, and then he'd go hit the next cove.
So
that's what he
St.
did all
John
day
has
long.
I had never
That's
heard of that.
brilliant.
One. They
Yeah, but
Previously,
Virginia,
yeah, no.
I mean, it just has the dumbest ABC
Right,
laws.
I was like,
so.
No, and he's literally in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Like there's
But I was like,
different set of
How
rules.
cool would it be if you're riding your boat around and you just, instead of trying to go dock and get out of the water to go get a drink and a beverage or a hamburger, you just pull up to the floating guy that's in the middle of the lake driving
Yeah.
around.
So the first one that I knew
Love
of down there in St. John was a couple that were like Harvard educated, like rocket scientists basically, and they were like, fuck this. Why are we doing all this hard work?
Yeah.
They went down and built a boat that has a full size pizza kitchen, like pizza oven in there,
Okay.
and they were the pizza boat.
What
where-
could be safer?
yeah.
900-degree fire on your wooden boat,
Yeah.
cruising around.
But it was the same thing. You called up and said, "Hey, we're at such and such cove," and you would just pull your boat right up next to it. Here's your hot and fresh pizza.
Well, it's-
Go sail.
I met the guy,
That is
you
kinda
know, Skinny
awesome.
Legs?
Yeah.
The guy who runs Skinny Legs went to U of R.
Oh, for real?
And I was talking, I mean, he's older, but I was talking to him. And he's like, yeah, I just opened, and it's just a hamburger joint.
Yeah.
And it's great burgers. He's like, yeah, I got
hamburger
took forever.
joint where? Like this is on a
in-
boat or something?
No, it's just
or
in on the island, in the middle of the
Well,
island.
they've got another one that's like tacos and margs, and it's like you just printing money. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here? Why am I sitting here? No offense, guys. Why the fuck am I sitting here?
The problem
Why
is
am I
with
not
St.
down
The
there?
problem with St. John is real estate is really through the roof because 85% of the island's a national park.
And they
Yeah.
also what developable land they did have got crushed in the
they're
hurricane
still coming back
Maria
from
a
that.
couple years ago, I think it was. Yeah, they're still rebuilding from.
But it's a great idea, Brendan.
I'm gonna work through some logistics. Lee, you're in.
Yeah,
I'm
in.
I see you. I see you frustrated. You're like that was my
Okay,
idea.
Troy and I are going to focus on the water.
No. I'm in on the water first. That's what I wanted.
All right, good. So I get the whole. I got the chick wagon. It's gonna be set up like a chuck wagon, but it's called the chick wagon. We're gonna
Counterpoint. We're gonna be in the
Oh.
fucking Caribbean.
You in a pink wagon. That's great.
He won't know what color it is.
Yeah, what do I care? It's a light red.
Just a pale
It's
red.
like a rosé almost.
Man, I don't care. That thing, if I could figure out the logistics behind it.
So have you
it's a
been down to
moneymaker.
Upper Shirley?
Oh, yeah.
So they've got their little wine cart that sits out on the patio.
That thing's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's
like,
a beautiful old vintage van, basically. I've seen those things on Instagram before, and it's like, yeah, that's what we need. And we
yeah,
need
but I didn't realize you couldn't take it around.
Yeah, well, I think they take it out for events.
Yeah, because it's easy. You go, oh, there's an event on the 23rd.
Mhm.
Get the permit for the
Yeah.
23rd. If
Right.
I had to get a permit every day and know where it is, I mean, the logistics.
Is that why we can't have like boozy ice cream stands, like carts here, like you do in New York
Yeah.
and DC and stuff?
Yeah.
Because the first thing I thought of was the Kona ice truck that you can rent.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine adding liquor to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like in New York in the summer, like there's just on not every corner, multiple corners you can go through, and there's just somebody selling ice cream, but it's boozy ice cream, just right here in your little cart.
But you also have regular ice cream.
I mean,
Or they just have boozy
probably.
ice cream.
Yeah, no, they do.
Lee,
That's
since you're
kinda
down there,
sweet.
have you tried Buskey's ice cream?
I haven't actually.
The cidery has their own ice cream.
Yeah, I actually just
I
saw
like
that for the
that.
first time recently.
The
I haven't been to Buskey in forever.
that Kona Ice, they do adult flavors now that they're like it's made to put liquor in.
Yeah.
and
So they give you this
they
and then
get
say, give a
yeah,
big wink,
exactly.
and it's like,
Yeah,
go
because
have fun.
our neighbor had it over for a birthday party.
Hold on, so
and-
they show up to your house.
Yeah.
And then so the whole plan is that you pour a little vodka in
Yep,
it.
yep. So I went and got a bottle of vodka, and we got
And then ordered the Kona ice truck.
ordered the Kona Ice flavors because they do all the kids like grape or
Yeah,
whatever.
but then they have like a pina colada. Or
yeah,
something.
exactly,
Strawberry daiquiri.
exactly.
Dude, they were crushing it because I did it for Penelope when she was little, and it was $150 for 1 hour, and the kids got an 8-ounce cup. They could refill as much as they want to, and the taps are on the side of the
Yep.
truck.
Yeah,
Oh God, they're gonna be puking everywhere.
yeah, oh yeah.
Nah, see, I hear that. I hear nightmares.
That's a lot of sugar for those kids.
There's a lot of sugar for kids because they just sit there and they soup it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
oh,
and
yeah.
there is 100% a point of diminishing returns with every.
Not when
pump.
you're 8.
Yeah.
But even my daughter, like, we had like a soccer tournament, and like she went and she got it, and she just started souping it, like, and she just keeps going. I'm like, hey, baby, you want to stop? Like, it's not going to be good. And she's like, no, I want more flavor.
Yeah.
And she just kept putting it, and like, we didn't even get to the car before she was like, oh, it's too much.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know.
That's
'cause
why I tried to tell you.
the ice melted immediately. Now
Yeah.
you just got a big cup full of syrup.
Yeah.
Experiment.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can't
you
just
taught
go
her early
really
how to
hard.
like make a mixed drink. Congrats.
Unfortunately, I think that is apparently starting to become true. I didn't know she can make it with that Wathans.
Yeah, that's nice and smooth. She won't tell the difference.
Exactly.
Which one do you guys
Mix that
think to
into
win?
like her
Well,
hot chocolate.
Stu, do you want to do this and add your score to the competition
No,
here?
I'm comfortable. I'm fine. I've had Jefferson Reserve.
You're comfortable just believing that what we
His
said is
score
gospel?
won't matter.
well,
The only way it could
is his taste buds are so much different.
Yes.
is if he flipped it completely.
Still
I mean,
wouldn't change it.
Yeah.
The one is the hanging Chad there. Yeah, I was thinking through it earlier, and I was like, he could. So you couldn't screw it up. You want to?
As far as it's still going to come out
Yeah.
the same.
It's still going to come out the same.
Oh, then no, that's okay.
You've just
If it's
told
gonna come
him,
out the
hey,
same-
you're totally irrelevant, but still do it.
All three of us picked the exact same order.
No, in the same order.
Really?
Like, it was
Is
crazy.
there enough airtime?
I mean, you're going to do it in the background. Yeah, there's ice in the cooler. There's
Those are my cups. You
there's
don't wanna
cups
use
right
those.
here that are perfectly clean. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and just figure it out, see what you think, and let us know your score. We won't.
But I'm supposed to blind taste test this, right?
No, right on the side which it is, so you don't screw it. This ain't abacus country. We're doing this our way. There's a magic marker floating around here somewhere.
I'm
We
curious to
will.
know his scores.
Yeah, I would be curious to know if he has the same kind of taste palate, because in the previous bourbons and beers and everything, it's always
He's
slightly
always
different.
Yeah, he does have a different palate.
All right, so I saw something weird the other day online.
Yeah,
This
that
is
happens.
Shocker.
Yeah. No, seriously, 2 heads.
Whoa.
Strangest thing I've ever seen. No. So, like, obviously, I know like marijuana is becoming normal in society because there's a company out there and they are called. I gotta find this. Endona. Endona. So this Indona company will send you a test like a 23andMe, like a genetic test. And so they'll swab you and take your test. And they even said, if you'd like, you can just send us your 23andMe results or one of these
we'll
other.
piggyback right off of that.
And we'll just, the data we have is there. And their whole shtick is, we will find the cannabis that's right for you.
Wow.
So they're like, if you are
That's kinda
paranoid,
cool.
if you're paranoid when you smoke pot, then
So there's
If
probably
your genetic markers lead you to be
well,
this
there's
type of
probably
person.
there's probably a quiz you answer some questions.
no, it's literally only
Of just DNA data.
Well, how can they tell if you're the panicky
Just
type by
how your
DNA?
body's going to process
How your
it.
body's going to metabolize the THC and the CBD
But I
and
feel
all
like
of that
that
stuff.
I feel like if you're anxious, that's not a DNA trait so much as it is.
No, it is because it's how your receptors, what part of the cannabis they pick up on. You either become paranoid or you become artistic. Like it's the same. Like the sativa, they always say it's like it wakes you up, it gives you a heady high, and you're like,
Yeah, but there's
you're like-
too many outside variables to determine in your life that may have led you to be a more anxious person.
Okay, so
like,
there may be like outside factors,
Yeah.
like I had a traumatic experience.
exactly. That's
So-
that's what I'm
No,
getting
they're
at.
just saying like this is your biological
Okay.
makeup, not your whatever's happening.
Yeah,
in your
we're
yeah.
not talking to a therapist also.
not your
Yeah.
trauma.
They're just saying out of all of the marijuana strains that are out there,
Yeah, they do that with food too. Like you can
Correct.
send blood in, and they could be like, "Well, you need to have more iron or more protein or more
Yeah.
whatever."
So this thing is
Pretty smart.
It's $150 a test, just so you can find out. So that means that you want to smoke so badly, but you want to dial it in. So you're willing to spend $150 and turn over your DNA.
Well, we all know people that smoke that it just like alcohol, it affects everyone differently. So yeah, like maybe you want to smoke, but you've been smoking whatever, and it doesn't agree with you, and you just pass out, or you
But
just
everybody
Find,
knows
like, a
that
more
person.
perfect high.
Everybody knows that person who says, "No, it made me paranoid," or
Yeah.
or "No, I didn't want to sit in the couch. I wanted to feel aloof and like laugh."
yeah.
And so this is going to come back and say, your body chemistry,
Says
this is what you should be doing. And there's a company that has created a DNA test
Pretty smart.
all around this. But that is how I knew. When I saw that, I was like, wow. We've gotten to the point now where legally we'll test people's DNA to say this is the exact. So you can walk into your
Yeah.
to your bud tender.
I'm not falling for this copper. You're just trying to figure out who wants to get who wants to get stoned, man. Nice try.
Nice try, copper.
Yeah.
But so now you could literally walk into one of these places and go, I'm looking for something that's 70% sativa, 30% of indica, and I also wanted to have a CBD count above 20, and the THC count should be about here, and they'll go, this one.
What would our parents and grandparents think of that?
No
They'd be
shit.
Like,
Fucking nerds.
yeah.
They're like, turns out you need the magic mic. And you're like,
Yeah.
what? And they're like, here you go. And then apparently you're going to have the perfect amount of all of the things that makes you feel exactly
That's
like
really
you should.
intriguing.
I thought so too. I was like, this is mind blowing because I've always understood it. Like, you shouldn't be eating dairy. You need this much fiber. And if you do these things, okay, you will be happier. And they're like, no. If you're going to ingest something that used to be a drug, but now is no longer.
Well, in
apparently.
some
I
places
mean,
it
that's-
is, and then it's not. It's
Yeah.
I mean,
This is how you do it.
My ex has had success with her practice in changing kids' foods to
Yeah.
help with their ADHD.
Absolutely.
You don't have to take the meds.
And I, as someone with ADHD, I highly respect that because
That's crazy just with food.
but I hate, so no, all right, one of the number one things we figured out as a kid for me as a trigger was monosodium glutamate. If I would
What's
eat
that in?
everything.
Okay.
So MSG shows up as like
That's why
partially
Chick-fil-A
hydrogenized
sandwiches taste so great because they got double the amount.
of MSG. So good. So
Is that in Chinese food or not in Chinese
big
food?
time in Chinese
Yeah.
food because MSG, monosodium glutamate, gives you the umami flavor, which is that like, what is how do I describe umami? It's like truffle is high in umami flavor. It's savory.
Okay.
So you have sweet, salty, all these different things. Well, then there's savory, and that's umami. And MSG is like a shortcut to adding umami to anything. So you throw that in there and go, wait, this beef is better. or this chicken has a certain something. That's what MSG does. They also put it in chips because it's real easy to sprinkle on chips to give it like sour cream and onion flavor.
You can buy just powdered MSG that a lot of people will add on to like popcorn and things like that, where you make it at a house.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I would eat a bunch of MSG and become a nightmare of a child.
Just bounce off the walls.
Bouncing off the walls, not putting one and one together at any time, like just a total nightmare of a human. And so we had to bring MSG out of my diet. And when we did that, they were able to be like, well, okay, a little more controllable. Maybe we don't need the Ritalin. And that was like, because all I ever wanted was to get off of, like, as a little kid, they put me on them. I went from a C student to straight A's, but I went from the class clown to like the silent kid in the corner.
Yeah.
And I hated that feeling. And I kept telling my parents, I was like, I feel like I'm not even me. Like I'm trapped.
Yeah.
And so I loved the weekends. They wouldn't make me take it. And I was me again. And then it was back to school, 8 hours of just sit in the corner like a zombie and get straight A's. And then like back to life. And I was like, I don't want this. And so we started tweaking the diet and little things fixed. But then I just had to come up with other ways to not be a psycho. Which now my job consists of like sit there in the crucible and deal with the craziness of like everyone else's stuff. That actually kind of suits me because I'm amazing in a moment, like laser focused in the moment.
Yeah.
And then like my follow-up's bad. But there's someone else who's supposed to follow up. So I just fix it in the moment.
So one of my buddies, he takes this pill that keeps him super laser focused when he's working and he's managing a major company.
Okay.
And he never really looked at the label. He just saw an ad for it and he tried it and it works for him. It lasts for about 3 or 4 hours and keeps him focused.
Little focusing.
It's a senior supplement to maintain your thoughts and your focus.
Like to keep
and he's
everything
taking
like a
it at
linear
32.
train.
Like Centrum Silver.
Right. It's like it's
Hey, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. I was like, well, if it works, it works. You don't think,
But so I'm glad to
you
hear that your ex-wife is like dialing in food and it is helping because I'd seen some of that, but
yeah,
this is not for that. This Endona stuff. This is just so people can get high better. That's good stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
But I
Seems
just
like a small price to pay if you're actually gonna like.
I mean, it's a
do
one-time
that.
thing.
Yeah.
if you know that you want to smoke pot,
Yeah.
like I don't think anyone though should be like, oh, I'll just take the test and then figure it out. Like that seems like a bridge.
you could
too
actually
far.
probably save a ton of money. Get the test done.
Yeah.
You know exactly what strain you process,
How much you
and
want.
instead
Yeah.
of like smoking the Godfather, you can just go, oh, give me a smidge of that, and
Yeah,
I'm good
because
to go.
I've never
Yeah.
been to a dispensary. Is that
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
that's what they're called.
Yeah.
But like, I guess there's like you go in one of those places. There's like 100 different versions.
No,
like
they
so,
will literally talk to you.
So
like,
you would be
go
like,
up there
I have
and-
no idea.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
you
going
say-
to a brewery
Yeah.
and saying, well, I like this. I don't like that kind of flavor. I
Yeah.
like this.
And they're trying so hard to be professional that they're like over the top professional. So it's the equivalent of walking in an Apple store.
Yeah.
If you go to a good dispensary and they will walk you through. Well, tell me about a good experience you've had. Tell me about a bad experience you've had. Okay, how'd you
What are
feel?
you looking
Just-
for this
They
time?
still
Yeah.
want to sell you something though.
They do, but they will
Yeah.
walk you through. This is the
But it's
shortcut.
like going to Total Wine and being like, "Oh, I do like these," but like if you know you like Natural Light, then you just go buy your Natural Light. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is the equivalent of walking into a Lens Crafters and going, "Here's my prescription."
yeah.
And they go, "Oh, we'll make that frame and
Yeah,
those
'cause we're not-
glasses."
Now
So
you just pick which,
yeah, and they go, "Oh, let me see your." Okay.
Because I had
cool. It's the Magic Mike and the White Widow. Those are your only two options.
Yeah.
Everything else.
the lady that was helping me at the dispensary when I was in California, she was like, so what do you want to do? Or how do you want to feel? And I said, well, I don't want to pass out. I don't want to get paranoid. I want to giggle. But I don't want to like be off the drain. And she's like, come down to this aisle.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like,
that's
here you
it.
go. This is, and literally.
Hold on,
It
you
was a-
have a pass out aisle? You have a paranoid aisle?
They
yeah.
do. They absolutely do. So
That's
so
the
there's-
Jack
there's-
Daniels 151.
There's
Yeah.
two ends of the spectrum, and this is all I know of it. You have your sativa, which is your more mental, and then you have your indica, which is your more body. And so a hard indica, you'll just pass out. And a hard sativa, you'll be like, I'm nervous about
Yeah.
stuff. And then everything in between is kind of how they dial it in. I guess this
That
will
would
dial
help.
it
That's
in.
crazy.
That's how I know, though, we've gotten so far that now you have like literal,
But
know,
the company-
scientists.
But
Like,
that company must have like as much information as they can gather on every strain of weed to
Yeah.
compare you against.
and they can take your your DNA test that you took for your family
Oh, yeah, but
history
I'm just saying.
and just use that. Like, there's so much information that we're just handing over
I feel
to
like
people.
there's so many outside influences too. Like, is this your first time ever smoking? Have you been smoking for 30 years? Like those.
You would
it's-
think
yeah.
those are. They're just saying here's where
Here's
you'll
what your
you'll
body
end up.
would do.
Body reacts
Yeah.
to it, yeah.
Yeah, this is what you're going to accept.
Stu, did you take some time with those bourbons?
I did, and I will.
Do you have an opinion?
I do have an opinion.
Can we start with number 3?
Yes, that's going to be
That's your worst one.
the Walthams.
Okay.
Walthams.
Yeah, that's a
checks
common
out.
theme.
That is it's like it burned. It was spicy.
See, different.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
a different
different but
context,
still
yeah.
Different, but
Kinda-
still.
like-
different way to get to the turd, but still the turd.
yeah, I mean it's like it's not. And then I went with the what's it, Heaven's Door
As the
second,
number 2.
as number 2. And
Okay,
then,
now that is a deviation.
and then Jefferson Reserve's number 1. The Heaven's Door is not bad. I think
Yeah.
it just got a little bit
That's
more
funny.
flavor.
Yeah, funny
Did you notice a weird taste at the end of the Heaven's Door when
kinda
you're
did.
done? When it's like you've consumed it, there's
It's
like, a
that
w-
second swallow
weird-
aftertaste.
a
kinda
weird
thing.
funk at the end. Something not really funk, just different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I really do.
Metal.
Know what that is.
I called it burnt pepper. I didn't know.
I think
what
it's metal.
okay. See, totally different
Yeah.
flavor profiles, but still dealing with the same. And then number 1 was which one again?
Jefferson Reserve because it's. I just like it because it's a little smooth. It got a little bit more body to it. And if I'm going to drink a bourbon, I want it to be that, that thicker side of things.
Okay, so Stu officially in the exact same order as everyone else in the room.
Well, there's the anomaly.
Like, quite literally, we all said the same thing. We just had different ways of describing it, but we all agree. Waltham's, no. Heaven's Door, close, but
Yeah.
no cigar. And Jefferson's Reserve, well, hello, nurse. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I'm surprised that he had the exact same.
I thought
I am
I was
too.
waiting for the
Yeah.
deviation there, and it's like literally 1, 2, 3. It's
I don't know. I guess we've done enough of these.
straight down the line. Everybody's
learning
scores.
a little bit more profile. But
Yeah, we could arrange for that.
I thought about asking, but I said no.
yeah,
I can't fix it, actually.
I didn't know they were playing tonight.
Yeah.
yeah, like it
That's
just,
weird.
Jefferson Reserves it disappears on you. Like there's no hanging aftertaste.
Yeah,
You
we
get the
had
flavor up front. It's good.
Yeah.
We had the exact same problem. No, we were like, oh, that's really good.
Well,
Funny that they're all in the same price range, and
Yeah.
we didn't
$5 difference.
we
between
didn't
them.
score them. Like we wouldn't put them on the same level.
is there much price difference between the three? I mean, like if is one more
50,
expensive?
50, and 54.
Damn,
So yeah, I mean they're all right there.
that's a lot of bourbon.
Brendan went crazy today.
I was trying to hook it up. I was helping out the podcast.
Yeah, by killing us with a fifth each. Here you go. All right. I could have brought in a little, 50 milliliter test trial. Could have done
Actually,
airline bottles for
I
everybody.
did look because all I was doing is I was looking for that standard size bottle, which I guess in my mind is the 750.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, this is a standard bottled.
And so that's what I was looking at. I was looking for the standard bottle, the 750 at that price. And then I was like, please have like a smaller version of it because it really is getting to the point where there is just bourbon everywhere in this house.
Yeah.
You were at the liquor store today, right?
Correct.
Better get
So
to
did you
drinking.
see empty shelves?
Yeah.
It's all supply chain.
Yeah.
What
So,
we were talking about last week.
well, I'm further proving that these are readily available because even in the supply chain,
Yeah.
the one that I did see was sold out today was the Blade and Bow, which is usually my go-to.
yeah.
And I was a little bummed about that. I hope that one doesn't start to become scarce, but we don't know what's going to be the winner. I think the Jefferson's Reserve has taken, in my
commanding-
mind,
yeah.
has taken a bit of a lead. But let's
So we're up to
That's-
4 winners right now, right? Is this a
this
fourth test?
now the
5?
5th. So we have one more, and then we get to move
Can you
on.
name all 5 winners?
Maybe. So
I know I cannot.
Jefferson's Reserve,
Okay.
right?
I got that one.
Larceny,
Larceny won?
you did.
Ooh, I don't remember. I didn't like that.
Blade and Bow.
Who did Larceny beat out?
The Elijah Craig was what it was up against right at the end.
I would have picked.
You did pick the Elijah Craig
Yeah.
small barrel. Yeah, that's right. It just there were a lot of people in the room that
Yeah.
day. So what have I said? Blade and Bow, larceny.
Here it comes.
Jefferson's.
Here it comes. Listen.
Jefferson's. Hold on, I'll get these. And then we have there was Maker's Mark beat out Woodford Reserve
Yeah.
to give us 4. And there is a 4 Roses,
4 Roses.
which would be
That
but it
was
was
good,
it was
yeah.
different 4 Roses.
The small
Single
batch.
barrel batch.
Single
Single
barrel.
barrel.
Okay, so there you go. Those are the 5 that have made it to the next round. Now, as far as all the ones who have lost, there's go fuck yourself.
Right.
Go fuck himself.
And, yeah, and
Kiss my ass. Kiss
That
your
one's a
ass.
nerd.
Kiss his ass.
yeah, there's
Man walks out holding his
Merry
dick.
Christmas. Yeah.
dude, I need you to start jiggling them keys 20 yards before you walk in here, man.
It is funny how perspective works because in one story, somebody got scared to death. In another version of the story, someone was attacked with a penis.
Sexually assaulted.
Right.
Yeah.
Officer-
One of us is nervous. One of us got really excited.
Hank,
Tough
Yeah,
to say
one-
who's who.
where's
One
the bump?
One of them's gonna.
Yeah.
One of them could be arrested for flashing his junk.
It's
I
my
mean,
house.
could he have seen it though?
Yes. He should have seen the shadow
I was wondering what you were carrying out
on
on
the
your
way out. Yeah. He should have seen a 10-foot shadow creeping across the yard and thought, I should back up. The giant
It's a
tip
large
on that
snake
back.
over here.
Oh, shit. We've done an hour 41. We can shut this down.
Let's do it.
I thought it was an hour 14.
Mm.
Oh,
There's your dyslexia creeping in.
creeping in.
You,
You had some MSG today?
I don't think so. I actually like actively avoid MSG because
Why? It's not a
I
big
just
deal.
know
Do
that
it.
I'm going to be like a little more off kilter and a little weird even at this age.
You don't need that.
No.
You
even
don't need any help with that.
No. But you should take me to like a Chinese place that's full of MSG or give me some broth.
Yeah.
Ooh.
My goodness, take me to a Japanese steakhouse and watch me slurp up that broth. I may as well just be in
I'm
the
just gonna buy the stuff Lee's talking about, and I'm just gonna start sprinkling it on all your food when you're
Or
not
in
looking.
his beer when he's not watching.
Yeah, watch.
Yeah.
It'll get weird fast. Like my stories won't have an end, but they will go on for hours.
Watch this. It's the Energizer Bunny.
Yeah, there's no MSG in this house, like, but I go out and I get it. I get it. You can't keep me away from my
Put it in my
fix.
veins.
It's horrible.
Jonesing.
And to me, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. For the people
But-
around you.
It's weird, and I can feel myself like ramp up.
Oh wow!
Like I'll feel like my heart
You
start
feel- yeah.
speeding up and everything start going faster. It's
so it's like an upper.
It's not
oh,
good.
it's an upper. You couldn't. If you wanted like the craziest night for me, the craziest night that I could have is a bottle of bourbon and like a sack of MSG in my pocket. I will go out and burn this place down.
Like I almost
Smoke
want
a
you.
little and some dip.
I want to see it.
I almost want you to like make some popcorn and sprinkle some MSG on there and see how it works for you.
Nah, I'm telling you, broth. Like you
Yeah.
get me in
That's
like
so
a
concentrated
Japanese
in that,
steakhouse,
yeah.
and they hand you that little bit of broth, the tofu in it, and I'll just start slurping it, and then I'll be like, "This Sapporo's really wiring me. I don't know what's going on. Like throw the shrimp over here. Like that's not.
I'm
even
open.
Our,
I'm open.
yeah. Like that's not even our guy. Just throw me the shrimp.
Yelling at the
It's
guy,
that
like, 4
quick. It's that
tables
quick
away.
for you.
Oh yeah, it's probably
That's
about
awesome.
a couple minutes after I ingest it, everything starts to ramp up.
Damn.
It's
I gotta see this.
You don't want to. You don't want to. You've actually probably seen it when like guys come over here and they bring various chips, and I'm just like not really thinking about it and just eating chips. I definitely start to ramp up.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, now you know a little top secret.
There we go. Learn something new every day.
It is weird after all these years you learn something new, right?
Yep.
Well, thank you
All
guys
these
so
years.
much for tuning in. If you haven't had a chance to head over to Nectar Sunglasses, you drop Bowflex in the coupon code. You'll get 20% off, and it embarrassed me just a little every time you do it.
That's right. Let us know.
And if you need a mortgage or a refinance, I'm telling you the easiest way for you to do that is head over to Screen Door Mortgage. Not only will Jimmy take care of you, but he'll make what is kind of an awkward process and concerning process real easy on you. And that's probably the best thing you can say about anybody who helps you with the mortgage. On top of that, he's going to get you better rates. Try him. Test him. You'd be shocked. If you haven't had a chance to head over to our Facebook page, please do so. Or you can always find us or send us topics if you will, a Gmail, InsideThePalletHouse@gmail.com. You can always find us on Instagram or Twitter at ITPH Podcast. And if you have too much money, we don't. We would love for you to send it over to our Venmo at
Inside the Pallet House. And yes, we could use it. Brendan just spent $200 at the liquor store.
Well, 26 of that was for the
Yeah.
for my bottle of bourbon.
The personal collection.
Yeah, but the 175. And I understand that people are thinking that math doesn't add up. There's tax.
I'll check it.
Thanks, Lee. The abacus to the rescue.
Doing your taxes.
I'd like to see that superhero fly in. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be talking to you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Peace out.
You don't have a coach? You don't have a sign-off?
I don't have a cool tagline yet.
You need a cool, sign-off.
Oh, it doesn't have to be cool.
It should just be like clicks, click, 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 click of the abacus.
That was a pretty good podcast, don't you think?
That was a really good podcast.